Welcome into the South Okanagan Event Center as we're just less than 5 minutes away from the start of the 2017 Young Stars Tournament in Penticton, British Columbia. We welcome everyone who's maybe cutting off work a little bit early. It's okay for hockey. It's all right to get away from the laptop unless you're watching us online, getting a chance to work with Pat Steinberg as the Oilers get set to take on the Flames. And this is really, Pat, kind of the kickoff to the season. There are development camps in the summer, but really, don't you think many people look at this as like, okay, hockey season is underway?
Absolutely, and what a better way, I don't know if there is a better way to start than we're all expecting and hoping for the return of the Battle of Alberta for real. And why not start off an event like this, the Young Stars Classic with Calgary and Edmonton, two teams that come here with some really interesting rosters, and I think some really interesting players, as both teams have got guys that are pushing for spots at some level or another. The Flames looking to maybe have a couple of guys push for spots on the NHL roster. The Oilers looking to maybe to make some impact and really advance their status in the organization. I think both rosters are looking really good this afternoon for our first game.
Well, the two teams were close to meeting in the playoffs last year, except for a couple points difference. We know they'll meet tonight. The Calgary Flames roster, I look at it and I see a lot of young kids with lots of potential.
I think there's three players on that board right there that you can make an argument might be pushing for spots on the NHL roster. The center and the right wing on that top defense line, that top forward line, and on your top defense pairing, Rasmus Andersson. I think all three guys have got an opportunity to maybe push for NHL jobs. And, you know, when you talk about Spencer Fu, who comes to the Calgary Flames as one of the most highly sought after college free agents this summer, he had a number of teams, Flames and the Oilers, among a few others, courting him heavily. And why not? 62 points in 38 games in his junior year with Union College. This is a really, really impressive prospect. But how's he going to translate to pro? We don't know. We've never seen him. And that question starts to be answered tonight. And then his line mate on Calgary's quote-unquote top line tonight is that young man, Mark Jankowski. He just finished a really, really impressive first year with the American League Stockton Heat. He led them in scoring as a rookie. He made his NHL debut in November for one game, and he's one of those players with some bottom six spots potentially open at Flames training camp that could really be pounding on that door to start the season in October with the big club. So Spencer Fu and Mark Jankowski will have our eyes on them quite a bit throughout this tournament.
It was a few years ago, Jankowski drafted right out of high school, which doesn't happen very often, and it hasn't happened very often in the past. As for the Edmonton Oilers, Pat, a lot of Oiler fans going, geez, the team didn't do very much in the offseason. And I say, don't worry about it. Forget about it, because we've actually got a team that they can be proud of, happy about the fact they made it to the second round of the playoffs. So if you're GM Peter Chiarelli, all you have to do is really tinker, add a little bit here, a little bit there, and who knows how far it'll take them come this year, where they expect to be back in the playoffs. But it's September, so let's hold off on the postseason talk.
Yeah.
Let's discuss something that happened not too long ago, and every team goes through it, and that is the NHL entry draft. And that's where the Oilers feel like they may have picked up an undersized player, but a young man with big talent. Kyler Yamamoto. He's a kid out of Spokane who does nothing but defy the odds. Listed generously at 5'8". His weight has fluctuated from 146 to 155, even though he's wearing 56, and he's ready to meet that next challenge in the development of his career. That's up front. On defense, the Edmonton Oilers have tried to stockpile some blue liners, and this guy's barely scratching the surface of the potential he has. Seattle Thunderbird, who just puts up more points every season he spends in the Western Hockey League, helped lead his team to the MasterCard Memorial Cup tournament. They did not win. He said it was the biggest disappointment to go from the high of winning in the Western Hockey League and then losing and not even winning a game, did Seattle in that tournament. But this is a young man the Oilers are looking at, Pat, to potentially be on their blue line in the next couple of years and give them someone that can help them out, especially on the power play.
Ethan Bear, Caleb Jones, both U.S. Division, Western League defensemen, put up great numbers last year, and we're about to go to the national anthem, but a really, really outstanding story that somebody told me about Kyler Yamamoto on his lead up to the draft before the Oilers drafted him in the first round. I want to make sure that we get that story in sometime during the broadcast, because it really shows you the type of personality he is, and maybe we'll do that after we hit the national anthem here.
Well, yeah, and we're looking at starting netminders for this game today to kick off the 2017 Young Stars Tournament. Dylan Wells will be in net on the part of the Edmonton Oilers as Edmonton is set to go. There you see Yamamoto along with the man wearing see Joseph Gambardello. But before Yamamoto, Gambardello, and the rest of the Oilers, as well as the Flames, can get underway, first it is time for our national anthem. Crystal Johns, as people are starting to make their way into the South Okanagan Event Center. There's a look at a former MasterCard Memorial Cup champion in net today, tonight, depending on where you're watching this. It is Tyler Parsons who will get the start on the part of the Calgary Flames.
Outstanding year last year with London as part of Team USA at the World Juniors. He won a gold. 925 save percentage was one of the sole reasons why London was able to make it to round 2 of the Ontario League playoffs a year after they won the Memorial Cup, right in between our two cities in Red Deer.
And another OHL goaltender at the other end of the ice. It is recent draftee Dylan Wells, who is one of the players the Oilers are looking at to maybe stockpile what they have in the blue paint.
Another really impressive season in the Ontario League. A product of the Peterborough Petes, 33-15-2 with a 916 save percentage last year.
The 2017 Young Stars tournament is underway, and it's chipped in by Mark Jankowski, Andrew Mangiapane, who alongside Spencer Fu will make up that top unit as described by Pat Steinberg. There's an attempt to get that puck out front, but it is intercepted and taken away by the Edmonton Oilers. Yamamoto getting involved a little bit there with Fu. Interesting, Pat, you've got two young players, one a little bit older, 23-year-old Fu, and a younger player like Yamamoto, but two players hoping to make an impact for their respective teams today and soon at main camp. Puck goes back to the point. Big shot by Zayed Pagan. He won't be hard to notice at 6'6", 210 pounds. Jankowski can't quite reach it. Pagan alongside Ethan Bear as the Edmonton Oilers trying to find a little more depth along the blue line after all the first overall picks and high first round picks that have turned out to be forwards, excluding Darnell Nurse. Now here comes the Flames as that puck just goes loose. Kirill Maximov can't get it, and back it goes. There's Matthew Phillips, tries to get to it first, but he is hit by his own teammate, loses his glove, and the Oilers will try and work their way out of their own zone. Back behind the net. Samorukov, who just signed an entry-level deal, and it chips out front. Dylan Wells will take no chances and cover that up.
Want to remind those who are with us on both websites tonight, bit of a software issue. So our score bug, our score overlay is not working right now, so bear with us on that. But at 0-0, we play just under 2 minutes of period number 1, and that's our first real opportunity as Matthew Phillips takes it to the net, and Dylan Wells safely makes the cover.
Flames win the draw, shot from the point, gets to Wells, not sure where it is, and it's pushed off into the corner area. Flames and Oilers doing battle for the puck. Samorukov is out front. Watson chips that in off the boards and in. Cliff Watson trying to help. Brandon Sagent front of Watson. It'll go the other way, and Trey Fix-Wolanski will get it out. Member of the Edmonton Oil Kings, in fact, scored the first ever goal in a regular season game at Rogers Place.
Lane Bauer of the Edmonton Oilers. He's no stranger to this tournament. He's been here before, and pretty, talking to both coaches before this game, there's always that worry of a lot of these guys have never thrown on the NHL jersey before, and you throw it on, you want to go and do everything on your first couple of shifts, and they're trying to warn against getting too crazy and expending too much early on.
Shot just goes wide as Parsons still looking to make his first save. Glove comes up from Rasmus Anderson, and it'll be him or his defense partner. Looks like it is Anderson that'll be the first one headed to the penalty box.
Yeah, Rasmus Anderson, a second-round pick of the Flames going back to the 2015 draft, takes a holding call. Really, really impressed the Flames are with Anderson. As you take a look at the penalty, he kind of gets the hand up and one hand off the stick. They'll call the hold most times, especially early in the season like this. Anderson came to camp kind of 10, 15 pounds down from what we've seen from him before. He looks far leaner, far more streamlined than we've ever seen. And he's one of those players, even though he's sitting in the penalty box right now, the Flames are hoping makes a push for one of the two open spots on their NHL blue line this season.
So just a reminder for those of you joining us a little bit late, we're just under 3 minutes into this opening game at the 2017 Young Stars Tournament. Calgary taking on Edmonton. No score at this point. It is the Oilers, though, thanks to the Anderson penalty, that find themselves on the first power play. Wow! What a hit by Josh Healy and Joseph Gambardella. The Oilers retain the puck, though, and now we'll try and set up the man advantage. Post up Safin trying to sneak in from the point. There's Ryan Mantha. He goes cross ice. Yamamoto shot by Bear, and that goes wide. Gambardella will get it. So it's the first line out there along with Mantha and Bear. Yamamoto back to Bear. Patiently gets it over to Mantha. Cross ice to Yamamoto, but that goes off his skate. Bear will keep it in at least temporarily. In fact, Yamamoto does as well, but eventually the Flames, thanks to some hard work, will send it down the ice.
Good puck movement early on by that Oilers power play. They were able to get a couple towards the front of the net, and then, yeah, that big hit from Josh Healy on Gambardella. We'll see it once we get a stoppage in play, but that's one of the calling cards of one of the newcomers of the Flames in Josh Healy.
Flames can't get it out. Oilers with a chance to set up. Wrist shot. Parsons will make the save. Caleb Jones, younger brother of Seth Jones, was the one with the wrist shot. And back with the Oilers to get it. Dmitry Samarukov. Is Edmonton now, well, they'll just about run out of time. Just over 10 seconds left in the first power play opportunity for either team. Maybe a chance for one more rush. It's wrapped along the boards, and the Oilers looking to keep it in. It will be Jones. There's the stick clap, and the shot from the point goes up and over Parsons. And the Flames are back at even strength. Fu up to Anderson. Anderson will dump it in, and the Flames and Oilers will start to make some changes.
Approaching the 5-minute mark of period at number 1 and scoreless in the opener of this Young Stars Classic. Pretty nice start. Things starting to pick up. Tentative to begin with, but I think both teams starting to find their groove a little bit here.
Watson in the corner. Polai pressuring him. Intercepted at the blue line by Stephen Oury. The Oilers on the heels of the power play continuing to do a good job forechecking. Almost leads to a chance out front. Here comes Matthew Phillips, and he will get rid of that after he was lined up by Polai. 28 players invited to camp on the part of the Edmonton Oilers. 12 actual invitees, others with AHL contracts, free agent deals, or drafted by the hockey team. There's Jones, who had a deviated septum, so he had nose surgery. Now behind the play, there's a chance shot. Oh, Dylan Wells thought he might need the glove. Instead, it was just a left pad save on the best chance of the hockey game so far, as the Flames nearly jump into a lead thanks to Brett Pollock. Here comes Jones, gains the blue line, cross ice pass. Back it goes the other way, and nearly connecting were Fix-Wolanski, Lane Bauer.
That all started with Caleb Jones. Nice pass as soon as he entered the offensive zone, and you can tell why. Some of the numbers he put up last year as a member of the Portland Winterhawks on their back end. We know he has got some impressive offensive instincts. Both him and Ethan Bear, some pretty darn impressive offensive instincts on this Oilers back end.
Yeah, the Oilers looking at those two young men as potential building blocks for their defense and for their team in the very near future. There's Gambardella, went to UMass Lowell, finished school hockey on a Sunday, and within a couple of days was signed by the Oilers. Yamamoto nearly stealing that away. He's a pesky guy, over 40 penalty minutes. So despite the fact he was at the combine at 146, made it up to 153, and now he says he's all the way up to 155. He's not afraid to get involved. Butcher can't quite get to it. Chad Butcher in front of the Oilers net. Safin in the corner, pushed off the puck, and it'll be brought around by Cale Detzel. There's Bear and Pagan. Bear named the Western Hockey League Defenseman of the Year, 70-point season. Butcher in the corner, Chad Butcher, as well as Cliff Watson. Real Maximov there as well. Now play getting a little scrambly as both teams just trying to find a little bit of continuity. It's always difficult, Pat. These players are thrown together. Coaches don't know many of them. And then it's like, okay, get on the ice and play.
We haven't seen a stoppage in play in a while either.
And Japane with the shot. And there's Wells with the save. Yes, it has been quite a stint, under 12 minutes now. There's Fu. Can't quite get to it. Okay, there's Fu will get himself on the scorecard here a little earlier than he wanted, or at least in a different way than he wanted. It looks like the Oilers will jump onto their second power play of the game.
Yeah, it looks like Spencer Fu is going to take a seat for hooking with 11:46 to go in period number one. Geez, we've had a long time since our last stoppage in play. We've been waiting for a chance to get that big hit all the way back on the Oilers' last power play. There is Josh Healy on Joseph Gambardella. Two guys in very similar situations, signed in March after their college seasons come to an end. Gambardella, a big college free agent signing for the Oilers, and Josh Healy, that's one of his calling cards, is he really, really likes to lay the body, and we saw it on display in a big way right there. He's coming out of Ohio State.
Safin, man to the shot. No, he didn't get the shot away. Recovered by Gambardella as he looked for Yamamoto. When the Oilers had their development camp in Jasper, Yamamoto and Gambardella were together as a twosome pad, and they really had some chemistry under those circumstances. So the Oilers starting to wonder whether they can have it at the next step here.
Well, and Yamamoto is fascinating to me. So when Peter Chiarelli, the general manager of the Oilers, sat down with him prior to the draft, he said, "Why should we draft you?" Yamamoto's answer was, "If you don't, you're going to regret it. I'll come back and haunt you." That's confidence. I love it, and you can see it with the way he plays on the ice. 99 points last year as a member of the Spokane Chiefs.
Man to the shot. Parsons comes across and makes a stick save. Nice save by Parsons, his best of this late afternoon start here to kick off the 2017 Young Stars Tournament. Gene Principe alongside Pat Steinberg, almost to the midway point of this opening period. Battle of Alberta is underway, each team with 5 shots. The Oilers trying to take advantage of their second power play of this hockey game. Davis Koch has his pass intercepted, and down it goes.
So far on this power play, probably the best scoring opportunity for either team came on that shot. A nice stick save from Tyler Parsons. 35 seconds to go now on this second Oilers power play of the game.
The Oilers don't have a lot of pro experience. Pagan has spent time in the Continental Hockey League, and then they have a few players that have played a couple of games in the AHL. Wrist shot, Parsons is saved. Lagesson with an opportunity there. It seems like the Oilers are getting more chances on the power play with their point men than they are with their players up front.
If you've never had an opportunity to watch Tyler Parsons in net for the Calgary Flames prospects, you're going to notice that he looks very unorthodox. He looks like he's always battling, and he looks like an NHL goaltender who's had some success. He looks a lot like Jonathan Quick, the way he plays. Says he models his game after Jonathan Quick. Just watch him when he plays. A little unorthodox, scrambles, and is always battling, never gives up on a save. He is extremely fun to watch.
Caleb Jones comes out dangerously, but it works out fine as the Oilers will get it in. Andrew Glover dumps it behind the net. Evan Poli there. Steve Owery as well. Shot comes from the point. Spencer Fu, nice block. Spencer Fu trying to get away. He almost did, but just enough of a bump to throw Fu off the path. Good comeback shift here for Spencer Fu, showing a little bit of his strength. I must say this morning, Pat, as the puck has moved around by the Flames, it's deflected. Dylan Wells didn't see it, but didn't have to as it went wide. Jankowski, I know, is big, but Fu was even a little bit stockier and a bigger build than I had expected.
Plays a pretty hard-nosed game. You wouldn't necessarily expect that when you take a look at his offensive numbers. I mean, he had just ridiculous numbers last year at Union College. Almost doubled his point total from 38 to 62 points. 62 points in 38 games last year. Like, it really was a standout season. But yeah, plays a little bit more physical with a little bit more of a hard edge than his frame would suggest, and certainly the offensive numbers would suggest.
Mangiapane, who's got, I don't know if he's got Connor McDavid speed, but he's got lots of speed. Hopefully today we'll get a chance to see it in open ice. He's had a chance to be involved in the Young Stars tournament on a couple of occasions. He can definitely scoot. It's brought back in. It's Pagan in the corner, mixed up with Adam Olas Matson. Zayed Pagan, they call him Z, but he said, hey, listen, I'm not Z. Like, there's only one Z. That's Zdeno Chara.
Yeah.
But he's kind of built like him.
He's got a similar frame, eh?
Yeah, and if he puts on about 25 pounds, he'll definitely have the build. Can only hope he has that kind of game. Here's Yamamoto scooting in. Oh, just fanned on the shot. Keeps it though, and then finally it's taken away. There's a little bit of speed, by the way, on the part of Yamamoto. Dylan Dubé comes back, and that's poked off the stick as Pagan, and Yamamoto will give it to himself off the boards. Yamamoto poked away. Gambardella thought he might have fooled Parsons, but great speed by Kyler Yamamoto.
Great play,
leading to the opening goal.
Chip to himself right off the boards and chases it down. That was a really savvy play by Edmonton's first-round pick in 2017. He's looked good. He's been one of the standouts so far of period number one. We've got 7 minutes to go in this scoreless first period.
Yeah, not a lot of whistles. Butcher tries to get it across from Maximov. Chad Butcher back to the point, just dumped in by Samorukov. Signed that entry level deal, which always makes a young player feel a little bit better about his future. Oh, now finally we've got a penalty against the Edmonton Oilers, and it'll be the Flames that will get a chance to jump on their first power play, and we'll get a chance to jump on our first break of this game as Kirill Maximov heads to the penalty box. Calgary with a chance to open up the score. Well, power play underway, and the Oilers will work their way down the ice. Andrew Glover dumping it in. We should mention referees for today's game, Troy Patterson and Mark Pierce. The linesman, Brett Mackey and Michael McGowan. They will try and keep the Battle of Alberta under control, which so far it has been. Rasmus Anderson at the point, gets it across. Wrist shot, blocked, chipped, bounces by Dylan Wells, and away it goes. There's Jankowski. Nice spinorama move at the point just to keep it in. Anderson thought about the one-timer, changed his mind, back to Jankowski. They work it inside. Cross ice pass. Spencer Fu was just teeing it up for that one-timer. Jankowski makes his way in and rings it off the post. Oh, sweet set of hands there by Jankowski. He just kind of pulled it in and then let it go, but couldn't quite beat the post after getting it past Dylan Wells. Jankowski again, that's deflected off a stick and goes up and over Wells. Now finally the Oilers will corral it and Brandon Sajin will send it down the ice.
Interesting to see the Flames at a prospects tournament, the first game of the year, working with 4 forwards and 1 defenseman on the power play. You usually just see 3 and 2, but they had Hunter Smith out there, so they went 4 and 1, and they used that a lot at the NHL level last year, had a lot of success with it. So seeing if they can maybe institute it at a lower level here at the Young Stars Classic.
Flames keep it in, looking to work it inside. Oh, nice little chance there out front for the Flames, but great save by Dylan Wells. As Brett Pollock had a good opportunity to open the scoring, and that pass just goes astray. Penalty almost over. It is now over. The Oilers back at even strength. So 3 power play chances between the 2 teams. No power play goals to this point.
Gene, we might set a new land speed record for period time. Like, this thing is flying by. 4:15 to go in this scoreless first. The Oilers out shooting the Flames 8-7 to this point. Just about 4 minutes to go in the opening frame.
Yeah, it's been pretty fast and sometimes furious between these 2 clubs. Zach Fisher getting one of his first touches on the puck. That'll be offside, as Edmonton and Calgary getting chances. The goalies haven't been overly busy, but busy enough as we take a brief timeout in this Battle of Alberta, which is tied at 0 with just a few minutes left to play in this opening period.
Let's go.
5-time Grammy Award-winning Shania Twain. Live in concert, the Now Tour. Rogers Place, May 9th and 10th. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Man, I feel like a woman.
The new album Now drops everywhere September 29th. There's more at shaniatwain.com.
He was one of our players to watch prior to the game, Kyler Yamamoto. You can tell, not the largest in stature, but boy, oh boy, can the young man play. And take a look at the progression in his time with the Western Hockey League Spokane Chiefs. He's a Spokane native, born and raised in Spokane, from 57 to 71, and then 99 points. And I love that. 42 goals combined for 2 seasons. Last year, 42 goals. He is really taken off. And, you know, most expect him to return to Spokane next year. And if you had that 99 points last year, you come to an NHL camp, I think the sky's the limit for the young man as he likely returns to the Western Hockey League this season. Who knows? You never want to say never. But if he does, the points could be off the charts this year.
Well, he has shown the Kyler instinct while playing in the Western Hockey League.
I was not going to say it. I was waiting for you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I'm working my way into form too here, buddy. This morning saying that Kyler, it's not, because we're sure Kyler or Kaler, right? It could be sort of pronounced both ways, but he says it's Kyler. The K-A-I is Hawaiian. His grandmother's Hawaiian, and that it represents ocean breeze.
Nice.
So a little bit of a story behind the story of Kyler Yamamoto.
You just saw Mark Jankowski on the bench, and this is the best chance of the game, and certainly Calgary's best chance on the power play. One of the things we've always known about Mark Jankowski is his smooth hands in front. You know, it was the one thing that, even when he was a somewhat controversial first-round pick going back to 2012, we always knew he had incredible hands in tight. Not so controversial anymore. This guy's pushing for an NHL job. He might be able to steal a center ice spot for the Flames in training camp. A nice start so far to his second Penticton Young Stars Classic.
Less than 4 minutes remaining in this opening period. Gambardella will get it, wrap it around the boards. Yamamoto couldn't deflect it out of the zone. Flames have it, lose it, and there's Yamamoto, who's got a little jump in his step. Gambardella, who said the first team to call him was the Edmonton Oilers, and that went a long way in him deciding to sign with the Oilers. Despite the fact that he plays on the East Coast, he said as a senior he could get up a little later for classes, so he was able to watch some of the games and get a feel for the team. Whoa, big hit at center ice. Trey Fix-Wolansky just leveled on the part of the Flames. Glenn Gaudin.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. That was quite a hit. OMG.
You know what? If you're just shaking out the cobwebs, Gene, Oilers fans are in for quite the treat on Sportsnet West this year. Tripping call coming up. It looks like the Flames are going to go back on the power play. And for the second time, it looks like Kirill Maximov is going to take his seat. He's got an interesting story, and now he's taken a seat for a second consecutive time, so the Flames back to the power play. Here is that hit. Glenn
Boom.
Godden, tryout player for the Flames, and he absolutely levels Fix Wolanski. Godden played in Swift Current last year, former 4th-round pick of the St. Louis Blues, but didn't get signed, so looking to catch on somewhere, and hits like that might do just that.
6'1", 195. Here come the Oilers on a 2-on-1. Brandon Sagen, tries to get it across, but what a real nice defensive play by Spencer Fu. Man, if you're the Flames, you're going, wait a minute, that's bonus. That's bonus.
Well, when you're
Breaking
playing,
up 2-on-1s.
you're playing 4 forwards and 1 defenseman again. You're going to need a forward to make a play like that.
Nice play by Spencer Fu, who's really been involved in this game. Took a penalty, made some good defensive plays, especially that, breaking up a 2-on-1.
Well, head coach Ryan Huska, who will coach him if he goes to the American Hockey League this year, said he's 23. He needs to be one of the true impact makers at this event. So far through almost one period, I think he's done just that.
Well, last year the Oilers signed Drake Kajula out of the University of North Dakota, and he was a kind of highly sought after free agent out of school. That's kind of the cycle we're in right now in the NHL. Shot from the point, deflected, or at least attempted deflection by Hunter Smith, but Dylan Wells was there to make the stop. The Oilers, Pat, intending on having each of their goalies play one full game, depending on what happens in the games, but the plan is to go 60 minutes with each of them, and then when they return home and play the Grant McEwen/Nate game, be a determination on who would get the start or who would play those minutes. Come the Flames, 30 seconds left in the power play. Dubé, chance out front. Dylan Wells has it kind of slide through the crease. It looked like Pollock had a little more time and space than he thought. Here's Dubé, back to Pollock. He was traded during a game with the Edmonton Oil Kings. There's Phillips' a shot, Wells a save, and then batted away into the corner, and down the ice it goes with about 10 seconds left in this second man advantage for the Flames.
Good opportunity for Matthew Phillips, who was one of just a few players who put up 50 goals last year. Tied for second in the Western Hockey League with 50 goals last year. We know that he can finish. Almost did there.
Less than a minute remaining in this opening period of play between Edmonton and Calgary. Another big hit. I must say this, as that shot goes to the side of Wells. We've had some big hits, but really no Battle of Alberta type retaliation that we've sort of become accustomed to over the years, especially now in the NHL. Big hit, clean or not, generally can lead to a little bit more, but so far everyone's kind of keeping calm, cool, and collected through this first 19 minutes and 33 seconds.
Yeah, 9/8 the shots in favor of the Flames. I mean, there really hasn't been one team that has dictated more than the other through the first almost 20 minutes of this first game of the event. It's been a pretty even affair.
Yeah, even in power plays, shots are almost even. There's another shot as the Flames adding to their total now up to 11 on the game. The Oilers at 8. Puck bounces out front, and that's just swept away on the part of the Edmonton Oilers. Everyone kind of taking their time, and that will do it. That'll be the end of the opening period of play on the part of the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers. Some power plays, some chances, some good goaltending, Pat, and really a real even first period, maybe justified by the fact the score is even at 0-0.
Yeah, that's that defenseman, Rasmus Andersson, right there, one of the players that I think stood out in period number 1. Kyler Yamamoto looked really, really solid. You were talking about the connection between Yamamoto, who you can see right there, number 56, and his center on that quote-unquote top line, and Gambardella. They both looked really, really good and made impacts. We're only 20 minutes in, but certainly a nice start for both teams. And yeah, you're right. Haven't seen any of the stuff that we sometimes see here at the Young Stars Classic. We see guys fight, try and make a impression or something like that. Not yet. Yeah. We're only 20 minutes in. There's still 40 minutes to go here.
And one of the nice additions to our broadcast this year is that we have a chance to have some walk-off interviews, and we're going to join our intermission
Ryan
host,
Leslie,
Ryan Leslie, who's got a man we talked about quite a bit before and during period number 1.
Okay, great to catch up with Spencer Fu, the Edmonton boy, with the Calgary Flames. And I guess here, just an opening thought to this period as you make your debut here in Penticton.
Yeah, it started a little slow. Obviously, guys are trying to get their feet, but that last 10 minutes, start to see a competitive game starting to brew, and yeah, it's good.
62 points for you in 38 games with Union last year. Just a thought, I don't want to compare styles. I don't think that's fair in your first period here in Penticton, but just your game. We see a little bit of everything. We see the forecheck. We see it defensively down in your own zone, blocking a shot there and breaking up a play. Just, I guess, for those Flames fans who are getting a sense of your game, is that kind of it, Spencer?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I wanna be a two-way player out here, and I know I have to do that if I want to make the jump up to the next level. So, you know, that's what you got to do on the ice. You got to be present in all three zones, and just make things happen.
I would imagine you hear it, being an Edmonton guy with the Flaming Sea on your jersey. You can't get away from that, but it's got to be kind of cool to play against the Oilers prospects.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to have this jersey on. It's cool to look across the ice and see those Oilers jerseys. So, it's special, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm just excited.
Spencer, thanks for this. Good luck in the second.
Sure, thanks.
All right, there he is, Spencer Fu.
Hello and welcome to Flames TV. The 2017-18 season is creeping on up and nothing kicks it off better than Flames Prospect Camp. We have 6 teams divided among the prospects, and they are taking to COP for the amazing race. The last leg of the race, well, they're losing down this bad boy, all in the name of team building.
These guys are a little late to the punch getting their race pack, so the amazing race is at a screeching halt. What happened? You could have scratched some eyes out and got it. One less pack.
I dropped the ball a little bit. I didn't see anybody going up there, and I was the guy I voted to, and I messed up, so I'll take the blame on that.
We're trying to stay calm. I'm not going to lie, it's hard right now. We're all a bit mad at Dylan, but it's okay. We'll rally and we'll recover from this.
Cowboys, do we get more quality that way? No. Pull up. We're good. Hey. Yeah, mine, get back. Okay, let's go. Let's just run.
Some corners have been cut. Not by you. This is not honorable mention. You are getting the most honorably raced. Do you feel like that?
Definitely, right? I've been running around. I think I ran around this tube thing 3 times. I saw Razzie though. Razzie's out on his phone, cheating, looking up answers, cutting through forests. He can't even climb this wall, and I don't even think he did that. So I mean, he's the one cheating, Razzie.
Yeah, we got a clue. Oh, I know.
So what's happening here? Because I thought you were done.
I thought we were done too. Apparently we got to get in some pink bin over there. She didn't explain it to us earlier, and she said we had to go through here, and we started over there.
She didn't explain it.
She didn't explain it.
Oh, she didn't explain it.
Swear our relationship that did not drop. We started again.
Last challenge here before the luge, you know, we were in and out within 2 minutes, so I think that was the biggest difference maker for our team, and you know, we all contributed there, and you know, we were slow and steady. You know, we were the turtle out of the gate, and you know, we beat the hares, so it was a good race.
Personnel for the Oilers, Bob Green. Bob, thanks for doing this. First of all, always good to have you on the program. After 20 minutes of play, the Oilers rookies tied with the Flames rookies, no score. What'd you make of what you saw in the first 20?
I liked it. You know, I thought our young guys looked a little tight at the start. You know, the guys haven't been here before, but we settled down, and I think the 2 power plays helped us a little bit. We had some pressure. We had a couple good chances. So overall, it was a good period for us.
This is the busy season for you guys. I mean, you guys don't really stop any time throughout the 12-month period of a year, but what are you looking for as a staff when you come out to this tournament and watch these young stars play?
Oh, we just, you know, we want to see some improvement over the kids from their season last year, and you know, they fitness tested yesterday, and we wanted to see some improvements over development camps, which was good, and when we saw that, and now we just, you know, they're real games for them, a lot of them anyway. The first time we've watched them play in one of our uniforms, so you know, we'll evaluate them there. Calgary's got a little bit experienced lineup today, which is nice, so you know, we can watch them play against some older guys and see how they react.
First time in a long time you guys haven't had a top 10 pick playing in this tournament. I guess it's a nice thing for the team and the organization, but what do you have within this group, and who are some of the guys that really are going to stand out to this group? Because I know everyone's watching Kyler Yamamoto, but what do you make of the format and the group that you guys have put together here?
Yeah, you know, you always have to bring free agents to this tournament, and so you know, we tried to bring some older guys and guys that were skilled that could complement some of the, you know, kids like Yamamoto, Safin, and those guys. So we'll watch some of those guys a little bit. And certainly, you know, for Kyler, it's going to be a bit of a process this year. It's his first camp, so you know, there's going to be some anxiety, I'm sure, for him early on, and there's, you know, first round pick, he's going to feel the pressure. But you can see in the first period, he made some plays, and he got away on their D when he chipped the puck around him there. He showed his speed off and his ability with the puck. So it's a lot of fun, and you know, we don't mind not picking in the top 10, and you know, our job is to take our picks when we get them and make the best of them.
When you get a guy like Yamamoto and you hear some fans that are excited to have a player of that stature in the organization, and they say, well, maybe he'll crack the roster this year. I know that's tough for an 18-year-old at any level, but what would it take for him to put together a really strong camp and really impress you guys to kind of force your hand?
Well, he's got to be a little bit patient, you know, and he's just got to get better day by day and take every experience, you know, most of them as new ones for him. He's got to take those experiences and get better quick, and just progress through the camp and try to get better every day. And every time he gets on the ice, get a little bit better.
Dmitry Samorukov signed with you guys. He was a third rounder in 2017. What really enticed the organization to sign him so early on as a member of the organization? What did you see in his qualities as a defenseman?
Well, I think his ability, you know, really enticed us. We were really very happy to get him at the draft. You know, so far he's been real good for us, and you know, development camp was good, and he spent a lot of time at Edmonton this summer, worked out, and you know, so I think we feel really comfortable with him, and he brings a good, solid two-way game. He moves the puck, he can play in the power play if required, he can kill penalties. Like, there's a lot to his game, and he's just got to get a little bit bigger and stronger, and work on a few things, but overall he's a good package.
How important is it to have European players that are within the organization come to Edmonton and experience North American lifestyle? Because that's something we're starting to see more and more, especially in the off-season.
Yeah, it's good for them. It gives us a little, you know, when they're over there, it gives us a lot of, you don't have a lot of control over your guys, and you know they're doing their training and they're doing stuff, but you're not quite sure what till they get back here and you fitness test them. But you know, they can learn from us. It's good. He's been over here a year already, so the language is not really a problem for him. He speaks pretty good English, and it's just a chance to get him around our people, you know, for a little bit. You know, they can work out with him, and to see where it goes, and just give him more experience and get more comfortable with the area.
One more for you, Bob. Kind of an interesting story. William Lagesson's here. I know he's on loan to Djurgården, but why have him over here in the Young Stars Classic, and how did that kind of unfold?
Well, this is the first chance to go to training camp, really.
Yeah.
You know, he left college this past year, and you know, when going back to Sweden, you know, normally those guys don't come to camp, but we wanted him to come to camp. We wanted him to get the experience, and I thought he had a really good first. He's mature. He's got a lot of poise with the puck and in his end of the rink, and I thought he showed some maturity in that period.
Bob, great stuff as always. Great to have you on the program.
All right, thanks, Tom. Appreciate
Bob
it.
Green, Director of Player Personnel for the Edmonton Oilers.
Hi, I'm Rasmus Andersson from Malmö, Sweden.
Like back of the line, Andersson holding, shot, scores! Rasmus Andersson.
I started playing hockey when I was probably around 3-4. I'm from a hockey family, so I started pretty early. The best part with me growing up was probably just being home with my family and friends, and just always having fun and always like doing new stuff with my buddies, and just being home with my family, my mother, my little sister. My earliest hockey memory is probably when I was with my father when he played, and just being in the dressing room along with all the other guys, and just having fun after every game and during all the practices, just messing around in there. The player I most admired growing up was probably Erik Karlsson, because I really enjoyed his offensive side, and the way he skates, the way he just play hockey is just overall one of the best players in the world, in my opinion. My favorite hockey memory so far is when I signed my NHL contract. One thing people may not know about me, it's me and my buddies bought a motocross, and we've been driving it for basically every day since we bought it, and it's really fun. The player I would most like to play against is Erik Karlsson, for sure. I just love the way he plays, and he's one of my favorite defensemen. My favorite movie is The Choice. If I could have anyone for dinner, it would be Blake Lively, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Hi, my name is Juuso Alamäki, and I'm from Nokia, Finland. The best part of my hometown when I grew up is all the home cooking and the barbecue nights during the summer. The player I most admired when I was young was Teemu Selanne, obviously one of the best players from Finland, so that's one. My favorite hockey moment so far was U18 World Championship gold medal, and winning with the Finland national team was something special. If I wasn't a hockey player, I honestly don't know what I would do, because that's the only thing what I love to do. Something that people probably don't know about me is I like to sing here and there, mostly in the shower and in the car. My favorite TV show is White Collar. My favorite sport other than hockey is basketball. It's really interesting to watch, and it's always happening something, so it's a great sport. If I would have a dinner with anyone in the world, it would be Teemu Selanne, because I watched a movie about him like 6 times, and he seemed to be a really great person, and I would like to meet him.
Hi, my name is Mark Jankowski, and I'm from Dundas, Ontario.
Jankowski with Army. Jankowski backhand scores!
I started playing hockey at the age of 4. The best part about Dundas is playing street hockey with all the kids in my neighborhood growing up. My earliest hockey memory would have to be trying on all my dad's equipment before I even started playing, and it was just huge on me. It looked silly. The player I most admired growing up would be Maxim Afinogenov on the Buffalo Sabres. He was fast, he was skilled, had great hands, scored a lot. He made every time he was on the ice, he made a flashy play. My favorite hockey moment so far would be winning the national championship at Providence my junior year. Besides hockey, my favorite sport is baseball. My favorite non-hockey athlete is Derek Jeter, because he is the epitome of class. He was one of the best players to ever play for the Yankees, which was my favorite team. The best goal I've ever seen was one where Maxim Afinogenov got the puck around the goal line. he did like a spinorama in the crease and like was putting the puck between his legs. One thing people may not know about me is my grandfather, Lou Jankowski, played in the NHL for Chicago and Detroit. And my great uncle, Red Kelly, is in the Hockey Hall of Fame, and he has 8 Stanley Cups.
Welcome back. Period 2 just about ready to get going, and we had ourselves a pretty eventful, it flew by, but a pretty eventful period number 1. Kind of bookended by big hits. That's one from Josh Healy of the Flames, and in between those hits, some pretty solid scoring opportunities. It's a big stop from Tyler Parsons, really his biggest save of the period, although he was tested a couple of times. This one of his other big tests. Nice play from Kyler Yamamoto, chips to himself, and watch for Gambardella coming in now, and Parsons had to be pretty alert on that one. Flames get their opportunities on the power play. Look at these smooth hands from Jankowski. Ping off the post, same power play. Flames get close once again as it's this time Dylan Dubé who feeds Brett Pollock at the side of the net, but he is thwarted by the Oilers goaltender. And then once again, we talked about bookending by big hits. This time Glenn Godden lays out his man, the tryout player for the Flames, certainly making an impression. And we are scoreless after 20 minutes of play. The second period just about ready to get going. Pat Steinberg and the one and only Gene Principe from the South Okanagan Event Center in Penticton.
Joseph Gambardella joking this morning because he's, well, kind of like Spencer Fu, one of the older players, and he said, I'm not the father, I'm already the grandfather. And I thought he might be like the godfather, Gambardella, of the hockey team. It's neat to see because some of these kids are, 4 or 5 years apart, which is it's a pretty big age gap at that point, not only on the ice regarding experience, but just life. You got someone who's just out of high school, someone's finished university. Now the Flames trying to finish off a play and open up the scoring. Yamamoto showing a little bit of grit with Manjapane as the two smaller sized players fight for the puck. Back to the blue line it goes. It's number 1 line against number 1 line to get things going just as it was to start the hockey game. Yamamoto's got it, back to the point. Mantha just slap it off the end boards and works its way around, and there's Spencer Fu. Can't quite get to it. I actually, when I arrived at the rink, I met the Fu family. Mom, dad, uncle, grandma, and grandpa all showed up to watch him make his Flames debut. And on the other side of things, also, Yamamoto's family made the drive up from Spokane, which is 5 hours, and he was expecting 9 members of his family to come out and watch. So it's a great time, an interesting time for all these young players, especially maybe not in the case of Matthew Phillips, but many of them have family and friends around that can come watch them play.
It's funny you talk about Spencer Fu. The Fu family had themselves a pretty incredible week because Spencer Fu signed with the Flames about 4 days after the younger brother, Parker Fu, was drafted in the 2017 NHL draft. So it's been quite the summer for the Fu clan.
Well, I met Spencer's aunt in the playoffs, and at that point he hadn't signed with anyone, and she was just talking about obviously a local kid signing with a local team, but close enough. He's just 3 hours down the road, so his family will get a chance to watch him play. Said his favorite Oiler growing up, Spencer Fu, was Doug Waite, which is a pretty good role model to have. Doug Waite had some excellent years with the Edmonton Oilers and in the National Hockey League in other stops as well. Battle along the boards is physical element starts to pick up. Shot from the point by Zayed Pagan, and that is picked off by Tyler Parsons.
Parsons, of course, who is coming off a pretty incredible about 16 months. It all started with his great OHL season, Memorial Cup, great season again, World Juniors, and there he is fighting through traffic, making that stuff. The cool thing about Tyler Parsons, the dude does not quit. He is wired so well to be a goaltender. Said if he was not going to play hockey, he would have joined the U.S. Marines. He had himself a nice backup plan.
Yeah, that is well, you need discipline, focus, commitment, dedication.
You see him when that mask is on, he's got Marine-like focus. The guy is as dialed in during practice, shoot around, games, doesn't matter, whatever the circumstance, the guy is dialed in 100% of the time. It's why in incredible shootouts against Team Canada in a World Juniors or a heart-stopping overtime in a Memorial Cup final, he's the same guy, and you don't see him get rattled at all.
Yeah, and if you're a defenseman or a forward on the team, and you have Tyler Parsons in net, and knowing that kind of focus, which we don't even see in the room, that's got to give you a sense of calm in a big game or a big goal making a difference.
They were during training camp last year. He had veteran NHL defensemen laying out and blocking shots for him. Derek Engelland, as a member of the Calgary Flames, laying out blocking shots in training camp because they love the guy so much, because he is that fierce a competitor. Teammates absolutely rave about Parsons.
Puck bouncing out over the blue line. Dmitry Samurakov tried to get it. Shot, wrist shot, scores! Juuso Valimaki with the opening goal for Calgary against Edmonton.
With 19 goals as a member of the Tri-City Americans, Valimaki certainly no stranger to scoring, and he loads that one up. He certainly loaded up that wrist shot and was able to fire it by Wells for the first goal of this game. Just kind of came out of nowhere. Good entry. Valimaki's got it at the left point, loads it up, and wires it past. A little bit of traffic in front. I think Valimaki saw that, and this is a player who's got some really, really nice offensive instincts. He knew he was shooting as soon as he saw that puck coming to him. Calgary's first-round pick, 16th overall, the 2017 NHL Draft, opens things up at the 2:33 mark of the second period. It's 1-0 Calgary.
Looked like Wells didn't really see it until it had already passed him. It was an attempted block up near the shot. It wasn't successfully made, and eventually went past Wells. Valimaki also with a couple of goals while playing for Finland at the World Juniors, so he does have offensive upside. He showed it right there. We're nicely into period number 2, 3 minutes in, and we've got our first goal on lucky shot number 13. Steve Owery would have been away on his own, but didn't have a stick, and his right skate just wasn't good enough to use for a shot. So we'll see how this opening goal affects the speed, the rhythm of the game, and how it impacts the Oilers. One thing that is always kind of interesting during the regular season, Pat, is line combinations, how long you stay with them, how long you don't. But Kyler Yamamoto on that first line, but Jerry Fleming, head coach for the Edmonton Oilers Young Stars, has had this team in this tournament on a few different occasions saying, well, you'd like to kind of let it go the entire game, but like any game that's even worth points and standings, if it's not going right, you start to mix it up. So it's still early, but we'll wait to see as we make our way through the second period if the Oilers decide to make changes or feel like they need to make any changes with their forward groups.
Well, it's been a generally even game so far. We've played 3 minutes and 31 seconds of period number 1. As you take a look at the period number 2, rather, you take a look at the Oilers bench, and they've been right there. Shots are 13-9 Calgary, and 16:29 to go in this second period. So still plenty of time to feel things out as the number 1 lines continue to stay out there.
Mangiapane against Ryan Mantha. Foos got it, lost it, got it back. Mangiapane looked for Jankowski, and that's deflected by the captain, Gambardella, right to his goaltender, Dylan Wells.
There's Andrew Mangiapane, part of the, I keep saying quote-unquote number 1 lines for each team. You've got Gambardella and Yamamoto on the 1 line, and then here's Fu, Jankowski, Mangiapane on the number 1 line for Calgary. But both lines have played like the number 1 lines for their teams. They have both been the driving forces so far. Yamamoto and Gambardella have been all over the place. This line, each one of them for the Flames has gotten scoring opportunities. So we're calling them number 1 lines because they look like number 1 lines so far.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what tournament you're in, there's always a number 1 line, and it is fairly defined by these two teams. When we talked in the opening about high-profile players, your two were 2/3 of that opening or top line, and we talked about Yamamoto, who's along with Joseph Gambardella, as well as Ostap Safin. Here come the Flames again. Caleb Jones can't get it out. Davis Koch had to kind of go behind him. Ethan Bear is able to intercept and use his strength. Interesting talking to Ethan Bear today about his training, and we'll get to it right after this nice play by Caleb Jones. But Bear saying, so many young kids, NHL players train, work out together, skate together. He does it on his own. He says, I just want to be by myself, be 100% focused. I push myself. I don't need anyone else to push me. I go in, I work, I do what I have to do. I don't bother talking, and I'm just focused on getting in better shape.
People in Edmonton will know that young man, Brett Pollock, who has been a part of the Flames organization for a little while, former member of the Edmonton Oil Kings.
Well, yeah, we were there that game. It was trade deadline day.
You were there the day that he got traded.
Yeah, and he walks out, and he's been traded, and he walks out, and he's right beside us, and it was so strange because you felt like going, hey, Brett, excuse me. But the Oil Kings at that point, I thought they made the right decision, decided to, let the game play out. Shot from the point, rebound! Oh, what a great opportunity there, but a good penalty taken, as it looked like Blaine Bauer was going to tie up this game at 1.
And it was Josh Healy right in front who tripped him up to make sure that didn't happen. So you talk about it. That's a good penalty to take. You are preventing a goal. You got to sit for 2, but you're preventing a goal. So we've played 5 minutes and 7 seconds of this second period. It's 1-0 Calgary, but on this penalty, the trip from Healy, the Oilers are going to go to their 3rd power play of the game. And just to finish that point on Brett Pollock, as you take a look at the penalty one more time, he came over, of course, in the Chris Russell deal. Russell goes from Calgary to Dallas, and what do you know? Where does Chris Russell find himself his next season? Now a new 4-year contract as a member of the Oilers.
It's been a heck of an addition. Shot from the point. Parsons gets to it as Ethan Bear lets it go. Bear with another chance. Doesn't take it. Yamamoto cross ice. Looking for Sappin. That's intercepted. Just over 5 minutes played in period number 2, power play number 3 on the part of the Edmonton Oilers. Hunter Smith out killing penalties. Interesting to see such a big man who's not a defenseman playing when his team is down a man.
There he is. He is a big man. Tied for the tallest in this tournament is Calgary's number 71, Hunter Smith. Stands 6'7", 225 pounds, and that 225 probably not even indicative. He looks like a nightclub bouncer. This is his 4th opportunity to play here at the Young Stars Classic in Penticton. He's been used so far on the power play and the penalty kill, and we'll see if he can continue to make an impact.
Electric Avenue, no more at Calgary?
No, it's 17th Avenue.
17th Avenue.
Hot spot.
I think Electric Avenue was when I used to go out, which is a long time ago.
Not so electric anymore.
Pulled the plug on it, hey?
I live right on what used to be Electric Avenue.
Oh, okay.
It's just 11th Avenue.
Well, I remember what was
just 11th
what was
now.
the Red Mile, right?
That's that was 17th Avenue.
Okay, that was 17th. Okay.
And it's still pretty hopping.
Big hit in the corner, of course, in Edmonton. White have Jasper have the deflection, goes up and over. Rebound, scores! The puck hopped over the boards or off the glass, back out front. Chad Butcher on the power play ties it at 1.
We talked about Calgary's goal scorer, Juuso Välimäki, used to scoring goals. This guy's even more used to scoring goals, as Chad Butcher with 103 points last year as a member of the Medicine Hat Tigers. He was at this event last year as a tryout. He's now a member of the Edmonton Oilers organization. He signed an American League deal, and he shows you his impressive offensive finish right in front of the net. Nice little backhand to go upstairs and tie this game at 1.
Took a bit of a weird bounce. Tyler Parsons didn't seem quite sure where it went, or at least he thought it was in a different part of the arena. Came out front, and, good hands and a good goal, and man advantage goal, and we are tied at 1 apiece between the Oilers and the Flames in the Battle of Alberta. Gene Principe alongside Pat Steinberg on deck a little bit later. This is the start of a doubleheader on a Friday night. It'll be Vancouver taking on Winnipeg. Oh, there's a hit from behind. That'll lead to some trouble. And more, maybe, as now everyone's piling into that corner.
Well, it was Healy who was the recipient of that hit, and I know that he certainly has made his presence known so far in this game with a couple of big hits. And there's another young man who's very used to getting into this stuff, Zach Fisher, who is 2nd in the Western Hockey League in penalty minutes last year as a member of the Medicine Hat Tigers. I mean, we talked in the first period. Not a lot of that stuff, not a lot of the rough stuff, because there were really no whistles in period number 1. Starting to pick up a little bit more, and it all starts with this, as Josh Healy takes that shot from behind. It was Austin Glover of the Oilers prospects who played in Prince Albert and Red Deer, so a little bit of Western Hockey League rivalry as Zach Fisher got in there after the Healy hit. And we'll see how these penalties shake out when it's all said and done.
There's Lowry. And then Evan Polai gets in there. In fact,
that's all.
Yeah,
that's like all Central Division Western Hockey League teams. Medicine Hat, Red Deer. all over the place.
Well, and Edmonton is not really stacked with toughness when you look at penalty minutes. In fact, Evan Poli looks to be the only player on the club that had over 100 penalty minutes last season, and that's where he is right now, in the penalty box for at least a couple minutes right now.
And it looks like the Oilers are going to get the extra penalty here, so there's going to be some offsetting roughing penalties. We've got 13-13 to go in the second period, 1-1 tie, but instead it's Austin Glover who's going to sit for a little bit for the hit from behind. Flames to the power play in this 1-1 tie.
So after scoring on the man advantage, he'll try and kill one off. Shot! Oh, big save, Jankowski with a one-timer, and Wells got it up high. Shot from the point. There's the man-child, Hunter Smith, standing in front. I'm sure it'll be difficult for Dylan Wells to see much of anything.
And if you're just joining us, if you haven't seen yet, Flames working with 4 forwards on this power play.
On Japana to Jankowski, and there's the high blocker shoulder save by Wells. Flames with some flurry in their power play when it came to some chances. Real quick there, Dylan Wells, who counts Martin Brodeur is the goalie he idolized growing up, but then as so many young goalies nowadays, Pat, oftentimes they segue into Carey Price and Braden Holtby, which makes sense, but he did say spending time on the ice with Cam Talbot was great. Cam was fantastic with him and really was just, I mean, Cam Talbot, for people who don't know, is just one of the most genuinely nice guys you'll ever meet. Dylan Wells spoke highly of getting a chance to spend some time with the #1 netminder of the Edmonton Oilers. Wells' dad is a drummer for the Tim Hicks band. He said first thing he ever had wasn't skates, but he had a drum set at the ripe old age of 18 months. Said he drummed till he was about 8, and then he started playing hockey and then kind of moved into that.
Well, not a bad guy to learn from. Only 72 starts last year for Cam Talbot. Just 72.
Yeah, just
if he can teach Wells how to take on workload like that, he'll be far ahead regardless. We got 44 seconds to go on this power play. A couple of times the Flames have come in offside and haven't been able to get set up, but Wells has looked good and made a couple of big stops on the power play. There's Adam Olis-Mattsson, who's at this event for the first time after spending time in Sweden, the Swedish Elite League last year in Djurgården. So he's at this event for the first time after being taken in the 6th round a number of years ago.
We were just talking during the intermission how so many, like, I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is the most recent player with sort of the 3 names, whatever. There's Trey Fix-Wolanski. You just mentioned
Adam Olis-Mattsson.
Yeah, and I think there's
Sam Dove McFalls.
Sam Dove McFalls, so that's 3, right?
It's a lot of games. It's a lot of mouthfuls for the play-by-play guy, hey?
Well, it's just it's kind of a developing trend that you see in the NHL. So just one more name for us to screw up, or for me to screw up. Cross ice pass. Power play continues, but not for much longer. There's the stick slammed to the ice by Tyler Parsons as the Edmonton Oilers at even strength as Glover's back on the ice. There's Phillips behind the net. Nice pass out front. Went through the skates of Brett Pollock, and out go the Flames as we near the midway point of period 2, game 1, 2017 Young Stars tournament. Dylan Dubé with the wrist shot, that's deflected high off the glass. Rassel is back there, along with Godden, who I would say, along with Healy, has delivered the 2 best, very clean hits of the hockey game. Ruzicka the shot. Dylan Wells calmly and coolly snaps that away from Adam Ruzicka.
Nice stop by Wells. Came out to challenge Ruzicka, who the Flames took in the 27 draft. He was their 4th round pick in this year's draft. And yeah, comes out nicely, top of the crease. Good shot by Ruzicka, who's coming off a really nice year. A lot of people took note of his season with the Sarnia Sting. 46 points in 61 games. He is a big, well-built young man. A lot of people think that he might be one of those sleeper mid-round picks from this year's 2017 draft.
Well, this tournament doesn't maybe have, a few years ago, the Flames brought Johnny Gaudreau here. We've seen Connor McDavid here, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. We've seen some really good young talent. And this year there just seems to be more of a spread of talent than maybe this, one player where you're going, wow. Just for example, Spencer Fu and Kyler Yamamoto. A couple of young players trying to make their way to their NHL teams. different paths, one going to university, one going through the Western Hockey League, but both trying to find the same success.
Well, from McDavid, Hall, Eberle, Kachuk, Gaudreau, there's been some big names just on these two teams alone that have played in this event. Yeah, you're right. Not that same type of pop as in years past, but some really well-balanced teams. I think we're seeing exactly how well-balanced they are because this has been an extremely even game with 9.5 minutes to go in the second period and a 1-1 tie.
Well, the Oilers, I'm not sure if the Oilers considered it or whether, I'm sure they considered it, but there was some thought whether Jesse Puljujärvi would play in this tournament because last year the event had the number 4, 5, and 6 pick. And number 2 wasn't here, Patrick Laine, because he was playing in the World Cup. Otherwise, I mean, that's quite a load of talent, young talent, which we're seeing in the past, and now we're seeing in the present. Andrew Mangiapane among the players who have made an impact through the first period and a half.
I got a question for you. What does the city know about adventure? What could a town with passion, spirit, and charm know about the finer things in life? Well, I'll tell you. More than most. You see, it starts with the people. And exceptional weather. Add relaxed and healthy lifestyle, and a friendly, active community that runs generations deep in every last one of us. That's who we are. That's our story. Now, it's probably not the one you've been reading in the papers. The one written by folks who don't want to share our secret, afraid of what we're capable of. Because when it comes to lifestyle, it's about as much as what you can do as how you do it. Now, we're from Canada, but this isn't Vancouver or the Big TO or the Stampede City, and we're certainly no Igloo City. This is the Peach City, and this is what we do.
Well, we're back to action here, halfway, actually 11 minutes into period number 2. Each team with a goal, so we're even at 1. Calgary taking on Edmonton. Bit of a change in scheduling. In the past, Edmonton usually would play Vancouver, I believe, on opening night, but can't go wrong with a Battle of Alberta on a Friday night. And,
good way to kick off the event, eh?
What was that, Pat?
Good way to kick off the event.
Yeah, good decision. Well, actually, Penticton's been since 2010, fantastic host. The only time there was no Young Stars tournament was the lockout, 2012-13, when half the season was washed out.
We like to pretend that didn't happen, that whole...
Did it happen?
Six months we'd like to forget or whatever it was.
As long as there's labor peace. And Dylan Wells getting a piece of that shot from the point as the Flames with some good forechecking, leading to a nice shot from the middle of the ice.
That was Rasmus Andersson who took that shot. Another nice stop by that goaltender right there, Dylan Wells. Nice pass back to the point. Andersson teed it up. He was looking skyward afterwards because he wanted a little bit more on that shot. But the Calgary Blue Line has gotten involved. Their goal came from Juuso Välimäki. His D partner, Rasmus Andersson, has certainly been involved too. So this defense for the Flames has been pretty active.
Matthew Phillips trying to dance his way in there, but couldn't quite do it. Olis Mattsson will drill it around the boards. Ethan Bear, that was a good attempt for a long lead pass, but nicely intercepted, and back come the Flames. Tipped in by Phillips. Ethan Bear showing a little bit of defensive ability. Gambardella coming right back. Flames and Oilers, well, they'll meet the preseason September 18th split squad games. Now here's Phillips. Phillips coming in on goal. Oh, what a save by Wells. Did it even get through? Safin now has it intercepted. Gambardella's got it. You see the skill. That's why Matthew Phillips has scored as many goals as he has.
Yeah, second in the Western League in scoring last year. 50 for Matthew Phillips of the Victoria Royals, and you can see what he can do in tight. I'm really curious to see if he fanned on it or if Wells got a piece of that. I think the goaltender for the Oilers may have made that stop.
Well, some big hits along the boards. Fisher leading the way, getting a hold of Kirill Maximov. Again, the physical contact, excluding that one push from behind that led to a penalty, has been very clean. There's another hit at center ice. Maximov trying to get a little bit of revenge on Fisher.
Fisher's been a marked man so far in this second
all over the
period.
place, Fisher. Wrist shot, that's deflected up and over the glasses. Dmitry Samurakov has that go up and over Tyler Parsons.
6:38 to go now in period number 2 in this 1-1 tie. Here's Matthew Phillips' opportunity. And let's see if he does. Yeah, that was just a really nice stop from Dylan Wells. Great skill in tight from Matthew Phillips. And there's Fisher, who has really thrown his weight around here in period number 2. What's so funny, Fisher, so many Medicine Hat Tigers playing in this game today. Fisher played on a line with 2 members of the Oilers, as Lowry and Butcher played on a line with Fisher in Medicine Hat last year. So they're no stranger to each other.
Rebound out front. My apologies, Pat, as it looked like the Oilers might get a chance to jump into a lead there. Lane Bauer after the goal. Well, here's Bauer again. 2-on-1. Bauer gets it back, shoots. Nice save by Parsons. Boy, did he play that well. Followed the pass back, and made the save. Trey Fix-Wolansky loses it. I actually just like saying that. Trey Fix-Wolansky. I like the name. Shot, stopped, blocked. Back to Caleb Jones, who'll just dump it in the corner. Bauer bodied off the puck slightly. Another attempt at a big hit there. Wolansky. Just over 5 minutes left. I know people at home who might be watching this, or wherever you may be watching this, we don't have our score ticker that tells you exactly what's going on and when it's going on. Here's what is going on. It's another penalty to the Flames and another power play for Edmonton.
One of the things that we've seen so far in this game is, you know, little penalties like that are sending guys to the penalty box. Anderson got caught up a little bit, and it was Glover who just snuck past him, and that hook was pretty easily detectable from the referee. So, you know, it's early season. I know Rasmus will probably be shaking his head. He took a holding call that was pretty easy to call a little earlier, and now that hooking call. But first game of his season, I think he'll probably look at the tape afterwards, say, all right, got to smarten up those things a little bit, but gives the Oilers their 4th power play opportunity of this game.
If I remember correctly, didn't Rasmus Anderson have a fight with Darnell Nurse?
I believe in last year's tournament, or there's last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, that they had a big scrap.
I believe it was the first time Anderson had ever fought in his entire career.
The Oilers kind of scooting away from some trouble there. Wrist shot by Manta. That's corralled by Parsons, as there was a bit of a mix-up in front of Dylan Wells, but doesn't lead to any trouble for Manta and the rest of the Oilers.
So 4th opportunity for the Oilers in the power play so far, and they've scored once already. Ryan Mantha, of course, one of the top 2 pairings for the Oilers seeing power play time. He and Ethan Bear kind of manning the points on this power play unit with that #1 scoring line for the Oilers out there right now.
Mantha 58 points in 56 games. Shot from the point goes wide. So Mantha looking for a point in this game for the Oilers. Then spent, well, I wouldn't say the rest of the season, played a couple of games in Bakersfield. Gambardella, backhanded pass, gets intercepted. Safin tried to get to it. Now here's Bear, Mantha. Mantha gets it to Parsons. Yamamoto retrieves. Yamamoto's got it back. Mantha not afraid to shoot, and that gets deflected wide. Yamamoto does some good work on the boards to keep it in, but Ethan Bear wasn't where Yamamoto thought he would be. So out it goes with 45 seconds left in the power play.
Ryan Mantha, who we've heard a lot about on this power play, got some NHL bloodlines. He's the nephew of former Winnipeg Jet Mo Mantha. So the nephew of Mo is Ryan Mantha, now a member of this Oilers organization. He's been very noticeable so far in this power play with 27 seconds to go and at 3:50 to go in period number 2. Still tied at 1.
At 6'5", 229, if he has offensive upside and with that size, it could be quite a find for the Oilers. It's dumped in, it's deflected and kept in. Wrist shot goes wide. Oilers running out of time. That goes right out front. And here comes Anderson, even strength now. Cross ice pass, the shot. Oh, big deflection. Let's call it a block out front. Otherwise, and Tyler Parsons goes out to thank his defenseman for that one.
Yeah, it looked like it was defenseman Juuso Välimäki who got in front of that opportunity and made this. Oh, it was actually Cale Detzel, who 43, not 42, who got out in front of it. Here's the cross ice pass. Parsons was moving over, but Detzel gets himself in front, makes sure that Parsons doesn't have to face that shot. Gave him a little tap in the behind afterwards, saying thanks for not making me have to make that stop.
So it's been a game full of power plays, but not full of goals. Each team with one. Here's Hunter Smith on Lane Bauer, and he just kind of puts him in a hold and eases him into the boards. Intercepted by Rasmus Anderson to Smith. He's trying to hold on to it, but it's taken away by Bauer. Oilers can't get it out, and finally do thanks to some help from the Flames, and it's brought back in on the offside.
Considering we were talking about Cale Detzel a little earlier, who made that block in front of Tyler Parsons. He was here last year as a member of the Oilers team. He actually got into a pretty entertaining fight with Hunter Smith. And so Cale Detzel was here on a tryout last year, signed an AHL deal with Stockton in the American League for last year, was one of their regular defensemen, and now here he is at the Young Stars Classic, this time for the Flames.
Now, if I remember correctly, he really hadn't had much fighting experience, or not in that tournament. And everyone was wondering how he might do against Hunter Smith, but he did okay.
It was a pretty entertaining affair between those two guys as we enter the waning minutes of period number 2. 2:38 to go in this second period. Game still tied at 1, and it continues to be really even. Shots remain even, 16-15 in favor of the Flames. So this has been a really entertaining almost full 40 minutes here.
Yeah, the Välimäki goal, by the way, they've added assists to Zach Fisher and Glenn Godden, just to round out the line scoring on that. And it was Chad Butcher who did score the goal on the part of the Edmonton Oilers.
Added
Ryan
assist
Mantha,
to Koch and Matha.
Yeah, Davis Koch. Yeah, this is, it really has been even. It's Tyler Parsons. What a memorable trip to Alberta he had with the London Knights. What a game that was in the final. What a few days it was for the MasterCard Memorial Cup. What a team. I mean, they had just a couple of like high offensive players on that team. The line of Tkachuk, Dvorak, and Marner. Oh man. I mean, I'd heard a lot about Mitch Marner, and then I saw him and I'm like, okay, that's why I hear a lot about him, as well as the other kids. All sort of different players. Jankowski trying to fight his way to the front of the net, but he's bodied off the puck. Here come the Oilers, maybe a 3-on-2 developing. It's just bouncing all over that puck. Pagan was had his stick up and ready to shoot it. Jerry Fleming, coach of the Edmonton Oilers, who handles their AHL affiliate, said that Zayed Pagan has just got a bomb, but we've yet to see it. But he was ready there. He was kind of had the stick cocked and ready to go.
And Yamamoto was the one who had the puck and looked like he was going to, then decided to curl back instead. And maybe we'll get to see one of those bomb shots from Pagan before the end of this tournament.
Mangiapane, Jankowski called off, scores! Oh, it looked like it might have been offside, but it was waved off, and Mark Jankowski has given the Flames a 2-1 lead.
And that puck got up in a hurry. Mark Jankowski, who led the AHL Stockton Heat in scoring last year as a rookie, had a really good rookie season, had a great opportunity that he rang off the post in period number 1. He goes right upstairs, and that got up in a hurry. So I'm curious if that deflected or if it was right up off his stick. It was a bouncing puck, and here's Jankowski. No, it's because it was that bouncing, rolling puck, and he was able to get it right up into that corner over top of Dylan Wells. Nice savvy there from Jankowski to just get it away and get it up over the shoulder to give the Flames a 2-1 lead.
See, I thought maybe Andrew Mangiapane was offside there, but it looked like he just kind of slid his left leg back to stay onside. Here come the Oilers again, a 2-on-1, back and forth they go. That's intercepted. Talked about Mangiapane and Spencer Fu.
That
getting
number
his
1 line.
Yeah, getting his first point as a member of the Flames. Boy, the Oilers coming on strong here, trying to even this up. Kirill Maximov has been just buzzing in the Flame zone. Wrapped around the boards. Bear will get to it. But the Flames will get to it as well. So 40 seconds left in period number 2. 2 for Calgary, 1 for Edmonton. And so for the second time in this hockey game, the Oilers find themselves on the wrong end of the score. Manta is dumped in, and here comes Lane Bauer. Slips into the corner. Puck is underneath him. Gets some help from a teammate. Edmonton still has it. Bear cross ice. Shot by Manta. Doesn't get nearly enough of it. And that should finish off period number 2. Calgary, Edmonton through 40 minutes of play. It's the Flames 2 and the Oilers 1.
Yeah, and a very entertaining period number 2. All 3 of our goals scored in the middle frame. There's Dylan Wells, who is very, very busy for the Oilers as they head towards their respective dressing rooms. But very even so far. Flames have got the 2-1 edge. Tyler Parsons has been very strong between the pipes for Calgary, but the shots very even, 17-16 in favor of the Flames, and period number 3 could go either way. Stay with us, because that final frame, with the way these two teams have played, looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, quite an opening 40 minutes of play between these two hockey teams. Calgary and Edmonton kicking off the 2017 Young Stars Tournament. Local time, the game was kicked off at about 4 p.m., so 9 a.m. ice time, which is a little bit early for the teams, as we get set to take you ringside in just a moment or two, as we'll hear from one of the Edmonton Oilers. So one of the nice additions by our production crew this year is having walk-off intermission interviews, just like you know, the NHL on Sportsnet throughout the regular season and playoffs, getting a chance to hear from your different hockey players after 20 minutes or 40 minutes, and certainly potentially after 60 minutes of play, as the Oilers are just about set to give us some of their time. And we introduced Ryan Leslie in the first intermission of play, and now let's bring in his counterpart from Oilers TV, as Tom Gazzola is standing by just outside the Edmonton Oilers dressing room.
After 40 minutes, Caleb Jones, defenseman for the Oilers, joins us now. Caleb, what can you make of the way you guys have come out in these first 2 periods here?
I think we've been playing well. You know, first period is a little jitters, obviously, you know, coming into the game. It's a new year, first game for all of us, so we had to get it out. But I think overall, you know, we really picked up the pace that period, and I think if we keep going, we'll end up winning this game.
A lot of talk, or some talk, the way you want to break it down going into this game, was the amount of experience the Flames rookies have as compared to the Oilers rookies. How do you guys overcome that in this last 20 minutes here?
Well, I think we just got to keep playing hard. You know, they do have a lot of guys that have played pro hockey before. I think you saw in the first period they were, you know, out muscling some of us, and you know, we had to kind of get our feet on us. But I think that period, you know, was pretty even. It was back and forth. You know, it's just great hockey for the fans here, and I think if we play hard and play our game, and you know, we get pucks out and we keep creating offensive chances, it should be a good end for us.
For a guy like yourself in your 3rd Young Stars Classic, what do you focus on as you get set for main camp as well?
You know, I'm just trying to get my game back. Obviously, you know, summers are long, and you know, I'm used to actually having a couple dub preseason games under me. You know, this is my first game this year, so you know, it's nice to have these games and compete against these other, you know, top rookies on other teams, and I want to get ready for main camp that way.
Caleb, thanks for this. Good luck in the 3rd period.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Caleb Jones of the Oilers as they trail the Flames rookies 2-1. One of his teammates, Kyler Yamamoto, shows us what he went through on draft day in Chicago now.
The
Edmonton Oilers would like to select with their first pick, Kyler Yamamoto. The Edmonton Oilers are proud to select from the Spokane Chiefs, Kyler Yamamoto.
Ooh, a lot of cameras. I think there's a lot of, role models in the league now. Johnny Gaudreau, Tyler Johnson, Matthew Grilla, those guys that, have paved the pathway for a smaller guy like me. I really wanted to be an Edmonton Oiler, and, my chest started just to pound, and once the 21st pick, and I was really hoping, and once my name was called, just the relief that came from me, it was unbelievable, and just having my family here for me, it was unbelievable, and I'm going to cherish it for the rest of my life. Unbelievable, I don't even know what to say. Oh my, it's crazy. Thank you so much. Is that too?
Yes, please. Wondering when someone was going to fill that spot. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's awesome. Oh my God. What? I actually grew up when I was in California. My billet dad was always getting on me about autographs, and he actually helped me out. He's a really big lawyer in LA, and he actually helped me create it, I think. Hey, I had a baby. I had a baby. See you later, huh? Yeah.
Jeff.
Nice to meet you.
You too. What's your name?
Kyler Yamamoto.
Kyler?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there they are. How's it going? Baby. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you. What's up, bro? Give me the bro. Thanks, dude. Toddley. How are you, buddy? I'm doing good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I love the nightgown, man.
I know. Congrats. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. It was crazy. A lot of people, really nerve-wracking, but in the end it was all worth it, and really excited to be at Edmonton Oilers. No, it was awesome being able to get a picture taken by a professional photographer. It's awesome.
What do you think of the jersey?
It's something else. I love it. I love it. I love orange and blue now.
Okay, always great to catch up with the general manager of the Calgary Flames. Mr. Brad True-Living stops by here in the second intermission. Brad, just a thought, maybe we'll start with the goal scorers, and Mark Jankowski and Juuso Välimäki. Let's talk about the progression and the patience. The patience by the organization with Mark Jankowski, and of course his progression over the last few years. It's been four years since he has come to this organization. Just what you've seen from him and what you've noticed about his game.
Well, in Mark's case, I think it's twofold. There's the physical maturation. I think when
when he was selected, and the organization, Jay Feaster was the general manager at that time, and they were vocal about needing patience. It was going to take some time with Mark, and I think, you know, he's 160 some odd pounds when he was drafted. He's now close to 215, pushing 6'5". So you see that physical maturation, and then just his game. You know, obviously he had a nice goal here today, but just the little subtleties of his game that he really has worked on through college, and then really took a big step here in Stockton. Face-offs, playing away from the puck, the defending details, you know, how to play in traffic, those types of things. So Mark's had a real good summer. You can tell seeing him. He's bigger, he's thicker, and he's had a good start here tonight.
And you said yesterday, too, you don't expect there to be a lot of open jobs, a lot of vacancies, but he is one player, I think it's safe to say, not to put words in your mouth, but that this is a player who probably has an opportunity potentially to take one of those jobs.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of guys, but we've left some spots and some boxes open by design, and I think Mark is certainly, based upon what he did last year, based on where he is in his development coming into this year, he's ready to push for a job. Now it's going to be up to Mark to come in, you know, go through the week here and then come in next week. But I think that list is growing now of young players that legitimately have a chance to come and push and grab a spot. So it's going to be a competitive camp. Everybody says that at this time of the year, but I can honestly say in my time in Calgary that it's going to be the most competitive camp we've had.
Juuso Välimäki, of course, 16th overall, your first-round selection in this past draft in Chicago. He scores the game's opening goal here today. And here's a player who has been in North America. He's a Finnish player, as we know, a defenseman in the Western Hockey League, but has come back with Finland. He was down there in Plymouth. I believe you had a chance to see him, get some eyes on him there as well. Flames fans want to see a little bit more of him. He's going to wear that C for Finland. He's a highly decorated international young player. This is a player who I think, by all accounts on the outside looking in, everybody's very excited about.
Yeah, and he gives you a little reason to be excited watching him here today. He's big, you know, pushing 6'3", 212, 215 pounds, skates so well, thinks the game well, highly competitive, highly intelligent. So there's a real package there for a guy that big to move that well. And again, what I think is most critical, how you think the game. He's got great tendencies, great instincts, both offensively and defensively. If you watch him out here, he's quick to join the rush, moves well laterally. So we're excited about him. I think this is going to be we'll take our time with him, but I know he was anxious to get here. He's had a real busy summer. I think this is his 12th game already when you take into consideration Plymouth and the World Junior Camp. Then he's over at the Four Nations. So he's had a busy summer, but an excellent young defenseman, and we're excited he's ours.
Real quick, I mean, the goaltending situation, we've seen a lot of goalies the last few years come through Calgary, but very quietly, very methodically, you have found that, and you've built, the fact is you've got a lot of prospects, a lot of depth at the goaltending position. We see Tyler Parsons, who just loves to be between the pipes. This guy refuses to give up on pucks. He's decorated himself, and now the goaltending position, you've got plenty.
Well, part of building an organization, we see, you know, our fans in Calgary see the team 82 nights a year, but one of the things that's a priority in building an organization is building that reserve list. And if you look at, obviously we're seeing Tyler here tonight, a real competitive goalie, and you say the last couple of years and what he's done, World Junior, Memorial Cup, and you go through the John Gillies, the David Richards, Mason McDonald's, the Schneiders. So we've got a stable there, and they're prospects now, and we'll continue to work with them, and I think we've got a bright future in that.
I know you've done all kinds of interviews today. You're probably exhausted. Mid-season form for you. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
All right, there he is, Brad Treliving, the general manager of the Calgary Flames.
In just one short year, these seats will be packed with fans from around the world here to watch the best under-18 hockey players go head-to-head at the Ivan Hlinka Memorial Cup. This will only be the second time Canada will host the tournament, an exciting event not only for our city, but for those athletes who are coming overseas to participate.
Over the weekend in the Czech Republic, Team Canada took home the gold for the 21st time over the tournament's 27-year history, with staff from Oilers Entertainment Group cheering in the crowd.
Canada won 4-1 in the final. It was a great chance for us to be there. Great to see the hockey and get an idea on the level. and also to see how they deliver the tournament there. It was really fun to watch.
The 6-day Ivan Holinka Memorial Cup will consume Rogers Place and the downtown community arena next August.
These are really the best players at this age group, and it's hard to imagine they're 17 when you watch them play.
Obviously a traditional winter sport for Canadians. It's a great opportunity to showcase our city in a different light than they might see it in December.
Locals, visitors, and nearly 300 to 500 scouts are expected to fill the seats.
A lot of players that play in the NHL, this is their path. And anyone that's gone through international hockey, it's kind of that first step of a true international tournament.
This event could pump $5 million into the city's economy from tourism alone.
There's tons of activity happening in our city in August, festivals that they can come and check out, the pre and post stay. We're really looking forward to working with the Oilers Entertainment Group to try and build off of a great event in our city.
This is the first time the Cup will be on Canadian soil since 1996. OEG and Hockey Canada look at this opportunity as a chance to build and grow the event.
We don't anticipate that it's going to be the World Juniors right away. It hasn't had broadcasting in the past, so we're going to add TV to it. We're going to add a number of elements.
The Cup will be hosted at Rogers Place in 2018, 2020, and 2022, with the Ice District Plaza expected to open as early as 2019.
It's a no-brainer to add some different components to the event and take place of that fantastic space that they'll be able to work with.
Well, it's unbelievable. I don't know that there'll be a better venue in the world, period, for any type of hockey endeavor, to be honest with you. So we're certainly excited about the opportunity. And when you look at what will happen with the Ice District, I can't imagine people not wanting to be part of that and be there, in a way to participate.
Another great reason to come, proceeds from all 3 Ivan Holinka Memorial Cups will be reinvested into grassroots hockey in Alberta. For more information on the tournament and for all the latest news and event announcements, visit our website and follow us on social media. Don't forget to get your tickets to the many exciting events and concerts coming to Rogers Place. If you are coming down for one of those shows, be sure to check out our Summer of Live Entertainment playlist on Spotify. For Ice Level, I'm Jessica Kent. Thanks for watching.
Let's go. 5-time Grammy Award-winning Shania Twain. Live in concert, the Now Tour. Rogers Place, May 9th and 10th. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Man, I feel like a woman.
The new album Now drops everywhere September 29th. There's more at shaniatwain.com.
It's been a pretty interesting and entertaining first 40 minutes here at the South Okanagan Event Center. Flames lead the Oilers 2-1 after 2 periods. All the scoring in the second period with that young man, Juuso Välimäki, first-round pick of the Flames, opening it for Calgary. But the Oilers, they would answer right back after some big hits and some physicality. The Oilers answer right back, and watch Chad Butcher on the backhand going upstairs on Tyler Parsons to tie this game at 1. But the Flames come back with their own goal. Look how quickly this puck gets up off the stick of Mark Jankowski, beating Dylan Wells to give the Flames their 1-goal lead back. Jankowski's been one of the more offensively involved players in this game. So those are your goals, and then that goaltender has been very busy in net for the Flames. The Oilers coming close all over the place, and Parsons has had to be very, very good. Tyler Parsons, the 2016 second-round pick for Calgary, number of big stops in period number 2, and he has been a big part of the kind of resurgence of the Flames system, and they have really been hitting on their second-round picks of late. You take a look over the last number of years, all these second-round picks, Tyler Parsons, Mason McDonald, Rasmus Andersson, he's pushing for a spot on the big team this year, Dylan Dubé and Hunter Smith. All of these are second-round picks who are at this in this tournament and playing tonight, all trying to make their way in this organization. But the Flames have 5 second-round picks at this tournament, and that's a spot where they've really started to make. Tyler Wotherspoon was a second-round pick. He's in the organization still. At second round, they've been able to find some pretty nice players over the last little bit. Parsons has been a big part of this game so far. My name is Pat Steinberg, and as we're about to start the third period, his name is Gene Principe.
And the Battle of Alberta is into period number 3. Thank you very much, Pat, as we kick off 2017 Young Stars tournament. Cloudy or more hazy and smoky shot on net as that goes up and over by Wells. As those BC Fires continue to, they're either burning out of control or new ones have started. One just outside in Peachland or near Summerland. So for all those affected by the fires in BC, we wish you the best of luck. I know that as quote-unquote media who are feeling like tourists, you love to have the sun out, but it's more important that people stay safe and have homes to go back to. So we wish all of the people in BC who've gone through a real tough summer with the forest fires the best through the remainder of the summer and the fall.
And on that same note, in our province, Waterton has just been evacuated with a wildfire looming. So thoughts and prayers to those in our province affected as well.
And I used to work down in Lethbridge, so I used to spend some time in the Waterton area. Yeah, you know, hot and dry weather, we love it because we do have some long winters, but sometimes that can lead to some trouble. And the Oilers, I wouldn't say they're in too much trouble because they're only down by one, but Butcher helped the Edmonton Oilers get on the board, looking to add to their totals. Before the game, we talked about Spencer Fu and Kyler Yamamoto. Both have been noticeable. Fu does have an assist so far in the game and has been able to make an impact. Here come the Flames again. Phillips, dishes it off. Oh, what a play by Wells. Matthew Phillips with the late pass now. Breakaway. Here's Butcher. Scores! Butcher slices through the Flames defense and beats Tyler Parsons. We're tied at 2.
Chad Butcher, who's making his turn pro this year. He'll join the Bakersfield Condors in the American Hockey League. He's been the offense for the Oilers tonight. His second goal, both have been nice finishes. Look at this. So one way, Adam Olis-Mattsson on this really nice pass from Matthew Phillips just misses the net, goes over top. Back the other way. Flames caught pinching. Butcher's got himself a clear breakaway, and he makes no mistake on Tyler Parsons going inside the post. Chad Butcher with both the goals so far for the Edmonton Oilers in this game. He had himself 103 points with the Medicine Hat Tigers in his 5th and final year with the Western Hockey League club last year. Was 3rd in the Western Hockey League in assists, 4th in points, and you see why right there. 2-2, and we're less than 90 seconds into period number 3.
There's no baker or candlestick maker, but they don't need one so far. The Edmonton Oilers, Butcher has been more than enough. And that's the other interesting thing, Pat, about these events is, of course, we're going to talk about the Spencer Fus and Kyler Yamamotos and, you know, high first-round picks and so on and so forth. But then you get some other players that you get to talk about that maybe don't have the profile necessarily to the quote-unquote average hockey fan, but they're getting a chance to kind of show off their game, which is what Butcher has done. So we're back at even. 2 minutes in to period number 3. And every time the Oilers have responded, the Flames have come right back. We'll see if that happens again. Lane Bauer behind the net. Takes a body and out it goes. Caleb Jones has got it. Interesting talking to Caleb Jones, and he was saying how we kind of assume he's going to train with his brother, and he does. He said he spent much of the summer training with his older brother and skating with the Dallas Stars. So that's quite a experience when you're on the ice with the likes of a Tyler Seguin. There's Evan Polai. Polai, wrap around, looked for Glover, couldn't find it. Jones, cross ice, Mantha, shot, deflected, scores! Evan Polai with the redirect in front, and the Oilers have jumped into a 3-2 lead.
So Evan Polai finds himself right in front of Tyler Parsons, and he is able to tip home that shot to give the Oilers their first lead. It was Ryan Mantha who took the shot, and the former Red Deer Rebel, Evan Polai, is right there in front, and a great job screening, and he gets his stick on that to put it between the legs of Tyler Parsons. For Polai, he's making his turn pro. He, just like Chad Butcher, joined Bakersfield on an ATO late. He's going to make his turn pro and play with the Condors next year, and he's given this Oilers team a 3-2 lead. So a couple of early goals for the Edmonton Oilers. Chad Butcher ties it, and then his Western Hockey League cohort in Red Deer, Evan Polai, gives them a 1-goal lead.
Edmonton with 1 goal in 40 minutes, and then 2 goals in 2 minutes and 37 seconds You mentioned Ryan Mantha, second assist for him. Caleb Jones also in with an assist as Edmonton Oilers have come out with a bang here in period number 3 to get their first lead of the hockey game.
Yeah, and they've looked good doing so as well. Nice finish on the breakaway from Chad Butcher and a good hard-working goal from Polai with the shot from Mantha to make it 3-2.
Here's Yamamoto, got the feet moving. Gambardella gets it back. He goes up high on Parsons, and it goes up over Parsons off the glass and right down to the other end of the ice and off a broken stick. You can see Yamamoto when he gets moving. Those feet are just going fast. Big hit. Another big hit. Was that Josh Healy again? It was Healy. Scores! Kirill Maximov takes the hit from Healy and responds by getting Edmonton's 4th goal of the game. And it's a hat trick of goals for Edmonton in period number 3.
Kirill Maximov is a really interesting story. Puck kind of just, first of all, squirts loose to him, and he makes no mistake to give the Oilers a 4-2 lead as they have exploded with 3 unanswered goals here. You'll see the puck just kind of pop loose to him. It was a little bit of a cycle. There's the pass, and Maximov jumps on it, fires it past Tyler Parsons to make it 4-2. But Maximov, born in Canada, goes back to Russia, comes back to Canada in his kind of early teens, plays some minor hockey and junior hockey in this country, represents Russia, but a ton of time playing in this country, and you can see there, good little release as he whips it past Tyler Parsons to make it 4-2 for Maximov. 38 points in 66 games last year with Saginaw and Niagara in the Ontario Hockey League. And now timeout called, it looks like, by Ryan Huska and the Calgary Flames prospects here.
Well, he took a hit from Healy, another clean, hard hit, kind of got him up high, and he sort of just shook it off. And about 5 seconds later, he had the puck, and it was almost like a street hockey move where you kind of toe drag it, and then he brought it back forward, and then it beat Tyler Parsons. So that's 3 goals in 3 minutes and 29 seconds. And what a different hockey game this suddenly is.
4th goal of the game, scored by number 57, Kirill Maximov. Assist to number 65, Chad Butcher, and number 39, Davis Koch.
So there's the line score on that goal, and we'll see how Edmonton responds regarding how they continue to play here. Icing is waved off. Do they continue to push forward? And we'll see how the Flames react. I'm sure a bit stunned after what they've seen happen to them in this 3rd period. Pollock tried to slide it through his own teammate. Had it go off a fellow Calgary Flame. There's Anderson. Matthew Phillips, who's I think been pretty impressive tonight. Pat, he's looked shifty and troublesome and hard to defend.
Kind of exactly the way he has looked throughout his pretty impressive Western Hockey League career too. Phillips has looked nice, and you're right. How the teams respond now to an explosion offensively for the Oilers will be interesting. Flames look a little rattled, and I know that you know, the results don't matter in the long run. We're not talking about this having any, but Ryan Huska is not going to be happy with kind of the loss of composure of the group because they were playing a really composed game, and then all of a sudden it kind of slipped for 3 or 4 minutes, and now all of a sudden all the momentum is for the team in white.
Giveaway there by Bear, along with Zayed Pagan, but Dylan Wells, who might have made the save of the game, because seconds later the Oilers quickly tied it at 2, and it's been onward and forward ever since then.
Yeah, that was Dylan Wells and Adam Olis-Mattsson were right around the crease, and that puck went up high, and it looked like Wells might have gotten a piece on Olis-Mattsson. I think he did. And then next thing you know, Chad Butcher's got himself a breakaway, and that started the 3-goal outburst.
There's Olis-Mattsson. Takes a hit from Owry. The Oilers starting to spread their scoring around. Butcher with a couple. Talked about Polai. Maximov. So you got 3 different lines that have come up with the 4 goals. And in fact, the one line we expected to get the goals has yet to score, but they have been impressive. Safin, Gambardella, and Yamamoto. Puck on the back of the net, and Dylan Wells will hold it, freeze it, and that will lead to a face-off with 14:22 left in period number 3. Shots are pretty even, Pat. 21 for Edmonton, 20 for Calgary, but the goals aren't even, and part of that courtesy Dylan Wells, who was talking about the fact that he was a really good golfer. I asked him his best round ever. He said he shot a 68 once in high school, and he used to be kind of involved in a regional tournament. But then again, more hockey, more hockey, more hockey, so he's kind of scaled back on the golfing. But he says it's, golf is very, you're up against it by yourself, and sometimes that's what a goalie's like too. So he says it's helped his mental game to golf as well as play hockey. Great save by Parsons to make sure it's not a 3-goal difference. And we'll see how Wells' mental game is here. He's got a nice lead, time ticking away. Shot, that goes up and over Wells. And also, as mentioned earlier, if the Oilers are going to alternate one goalie for every game, you've only got 60 minutes to make an impression.
I think he has. He's looked good. He hasn't made the big-time highlight reel saves that we've seen from Tyler Parsons, but he's made some really solid stops, and he's been there when needed to. I don't think there's anything you can fault in the game of Dylan Wells tonight. The 5th-round pick of the Oilers in 2016, product of the Peterborough Petes. He's looked really strong between the pipes tonight, nice and composed.
A few years ago, the Oilers had some 5th-round picks, Olivier Waugh, Tyler Bunz, goalies that they thought would be part of the future, and it just didn't quite pan out. And now they've sort of gone back to try to, build a little bit in net. Cam Talbot's still not even 30 years old, but at some point, they got Laurent Persois, former member of the Flames organization. You just never know how many goalies you're going to need.
2 goalies drafted in the last 2 years. You've got Dylan Wells, a 2016 pick, and then Lethbridge Hurricanes product Stuart Skinner this year for the Edmonton Oilers. We'll see him in either the game against the Canucks or the Jets a little bit later on.
Yeah, it sounds like Skinner might start next game, but they weren't exactly sure. I would think certainly by, if not earlier today, by the end of the night, starting goalie for the next game will know. Yeah, Skinner, another one of those local kids, 8 Albertans. We should mention Tyler Benson, a 2nd-round pick, former member of the Southside Athletic Club, had a 146-point season playing AAA Bantam, but recently had a sports hernia surgery, and the Oilers don't expect him to play in this tournament, but hope that he'll be ready to go for the Vancouver Giants very soon.
Feel so bad for Tyler Benson. Last 2 years, just totally ravaged by injuries, but when he plays, he's one of the most productive players in the Western Hockey League. You just hope that he can play. You hope that he can get the sports hernia behind him, and this is an injury-free year.
Shot from the point, assist on his spine, shoulder surgery. He's had a lot already at a young age. Cross-ice pass. Sajin goes wide with the shot, so Mantha has to go back and get it. Sajin can't take that pass from Mantha, and looks like it's called on the offside.
And they might have called it icing too. Yeah, I think they're going to call it the icing and bring it all the way back.
Yeah, it looks like it was icing. I guess he didn't quite get a piece of it here.
No, I think missed it just on the blue line, and that's why we go down. So approaching the halfway mark, 11:37 to go. All of a sudden, the Oilers lead this game 4-2 in the 3rd period.
Long lead pass. That is touched by Trey Fix-Wolanski, but touched on his side of center ice. So back they go into the Oilers zone. There's Trey Fix-Wolanski. What a night it was at Rogers Place. The building is just over a year old, and it was full of fans. In fact, I watched the game in the stands with my daughter, and very enjoyable way to kick off a new building and a new era in Edmonton.
Yeah, he's had himself a pretty blessed career playing major junior hockey with the Edmonton Oil Kings, played in the Alberta Junior Hockey League with the Spruce Grove Saints. Fix-Wolanski's had himself a nice, blessed career in terms of where he's got the opportunity to play.
That shot deflected over Wells. Comes Cliff Watson. Bounced in. That'll be called on the offside as Flames just couldn't quite get outside the blue line here. Glenn Gowden had the big hit earlier on in this game.
One of the things about then Glenn Gowden, as you see him right there, one of the tryout players. Each team bringing a number of tryouts to this tournament, looking to, perhaps see if they can make an impression, on whoever's watching out there tonight, and see if they can impress, get themselves a contract, get themselves under the American League team, something like that. Each team with a number of tryouts that try, and it's one of the unique things about this tournament. Yes, lots of drafted and signed products of teams, but also plenty of guys trying to make an impact who are not officially part of the organization.
Rasmus Anderson and Evan Polai collided, and then throw in the fact that now we've got 31 NHL teams, so you've got about another 60 to 70 pro hockey jobs. Oh, good effort there by Spencer Food. He worked his way through the Oilers' defense. So lots of jobs to be had, and this is a good way to earn one. It's Jankowski got one of the Flames goals. Dylan Wells doesn't know where it is. Now he's got it. So just kind of hopped over a few bodies, and he really wasn't sure, but Wells in the right position to corral that just in front of him.
And after a stretch where the Flames looked a little shaky, a little scrambly, Oilers had scored 3 goals, finally got an opportunity to create something. It all started with this end-to-end rush from Spencer Fu. So he works his way through the Oilers defense. Puck starts to roll on him, but he still gets a nice backhand shot away. You can see how in the NCAA a player like that was able to put up 62 points in his junior season last year.
Well, here's Yamamoto. Kind of double clutched, lost it, and then got tangled up with the referee and took a hit. There's Matthew Phillips. Brett Pollock is up there. It's kind of sent the other way by Gambardella. Looked like it might be a hold there, but Bear looks like he might have injured his hand there. Have to have a closer look at that as he kind of clutched for his free hand. Shot from the point goes wide. That's chopped, and away it goes. And Ethan Bear, it looks like he's in a bit of trouble. And there's Yamamoto. I think he wanted to get something in the net tonight, but not himself. The stick is still there. Butcher the shot, going for the hat trick. Yamamoto finally said, hey, you have it. I'll sign it for you after the game.
Well, that puck bounced around in the Flame zone for a couple of seconds, and then all of a sudden landed right on Butcher's stick in the slot. He was that close to making this 5-2 with his 3rd goal of the game.
Yamamoto, it's kind of funny. Maximov the shot, rebound! Parsons with the save, and that Yamamoto stick just flying around in the zone. Nice quick pass, Maximov, waiting. Well, Maximov already with 1, won't get 2 after good work by the Flames defensively. Less than 9 minutes to go in period number 3. Edmonton 4, Calgary 2. Pat Steinberg along with Team Principe. The start of a doubleheader on this Friday night to kick off the 2017 Young Stars Tournament. Warming up in the batting cage. Here's a chance. Oh, Parsons gets a piece of that as Butcher with another opportunity for the hat trick.
He has been all over the puck so far in this game, hasn't he? He has been unbelievable on once the puck seems like it's past the offensive blue line. Chad Butcher seems to be all over it, and Tyler Parsons again had to make a huge stop to keep this a 2-goal game at 4-2. That was a big stop from the Flames goaltender. Well, icing on the play, so they're going to bring her back.
But talking about Yamamoto and his size, I mean, Butcher's 5'10", 165 is not that big, but boy, he's been around the puck and around that net most of the night. Tyler Parsons, people might think, oh, beaten for 4 goals, but he's made a couple of great saves.
There's one on Maximov and the second opportunity as well. And he just
Davis
got
Koch.
a piece of that opportunity from Chad Butcher. Just was able to deflect it wide.
So after a little bit of a push by the Flames, the Oilers respond with a really strong shift. Not many more shifts to go in this one. After some penalties in period number 1, we've kind of stayed away from that in periods 2 and 3. It's been good up and down, strong hockey by both teams, some good goaltending and good goals, and Rasmus Andersson is looking for a goal or 2. Calgary, all they need is 1 here, Pat, just to kind of give them some life heading into the final 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, they trail 4-2 with 7:57 to go now in period number 3. So starting to get down to those waning minutes of the 3rd period, and out comes the most effective offensive line for the Flames so far, Jankowski, Mangiapane, and Spencer Fu.
Oh, there's Spencer Fu's got himself another penalty. Just kind of an errant stick that ended up tripping up an Edmonton Oiler, and Fu knows now it's him.
Yeah, it's a little bit errant. You're right. Kind of went between the legs and waving it around, and next thing you know, he's going to go to the penalty box. So another power play opportunity for the Oilers as Spencer Fu will take a seat for 2 minutes. Oilers power play has looked good so far, and you'll see it here. Fu's stick kind of just gets a little errant as he's leaving, and down goes the Oilers players. So off to the power play they go, and if the Flames are trying to get back in this thing, the man advantage for the other team not going to help.
William Lagesson was the Oiler that was tripped up. So that's 2 penalties, 1 assist for Spencer Fu so far tonight. Yeah, he was talking about how his family and friends, wanted him to sign with Edmonton, but they wanted him to be happy too. And he just said, after listening to all kinds of chatter and conversation, in the end I went with my gut. My gut said, sign with the Calgary Flames, and so he did. Safin the shot, blocked by Anderson, and Anderson blocks Safin. Some good work by the Flames, and they'll chew up some time and maybe consider an offensive push. As that just goes sliding by wide as the Flames try and connect with some offense here while killing off another penalty.
Good to see Ethan Bear out there for the Oilers. You thought maybe he'd done something to his hand, was kind of clutching it for a couple of seconds. So good to see him back out there, not missing a shift.
Long lead pass that did not get touched by Chad Butcher, so icing is called on the Edmonton Oilers. 40 seconds left in the man advantage and 6:27 left in the hockey game.
Still a 4-2 lead for the Oilers. If you're just joining us, Flames had a 2-1 lead after 40 minutes of play, and then an early third period explosion for the Oilers. Not two, but three unanswered goals to this point coming in the first 4 minutes of period number 3, and that's why they lead 4-2 with just under 6.5 minutes to go in this hockey game.
And the timeout by Ryan Huska, it hasn't led to offense, but it certainly has settled them
Calmed
down.
it down a little bit, absolutely.
Give them a chance to kind of respond and have an opportunity to come back in this game. So good timeout by the coach of the Young Stars Flames team. And listen, these coaches, they could be having a 3-on-3 at the end of practice. They want to win. It is about development, but when you're in the heat of the game, you certainly would like to come up with a victory, especially when you're up 2-1 and suddenly you're down 4-2. Wrist shot, that goes off a body and well wide of Parsons. Jankowski will smack it off the boards. Andrew Mangiapane with a little hook on Lagesson, but Lagesson is there to get it first. Healy with another hit, not as devastating as a couple that he's had so far in this game. He's kind of when I say sneaky, I don't mean dirty. It's like you don't see a hit coming and then suddenly he's just walloped you. There's Caleb Jones. Oh, now there's Healy again. He doesn't really need much of a lead-up time. A couple steps and he's very physical.
This time it was Lane Bauer who found out about that.
There's Healy jumping into the play now. It looks like it's a bit of a green light for those in red. Try and get back into it. 5 minutes left to be exact. Hunter Smith can't get to it. There's Lagesson. Dumped in. Hunter Smith will go in on the forecheck. Two of the bigger players tonight. There's Zayed Pagan on one end and Hunter Smith on the other. Oh, Pagan, that's very dangerous. But he got away with it. He got through it. Barely. His English, actually, Zayed Pagan, despite the fact he spent his life and career over in Russia, except for a late stint with Bakersfield last year, he speaks quite well. Sometimes you're not sure, but very impressed by his language. Flames corral. It's Anderson, dumps it into the corner, hops over Dylan Dubé's stick. And have a bunch of players in front of Wells. He's down looking for it. It gets flipped beside him. Intercepted, Brandon Sagen, and slowly they get it out. Wrist shot. Not sure Parsons had to make a save there. That went off the side of the net. So the Oilers just kind of playing well enough here to keep the Flames off the scoreboard. Kyler Yamamoto just ran into the referee. Or vice versa. There's a big hit, Rasmus Andersson. Oh boy. What a huge wallop by Rasmus Andersson.
Ostap Safin was the one who felt that one for the Oilers.
Did he ever get
kind
him?
of came out of nowhere, too.
Yeah.
Caught him looking down. The next thing you know, Safin takes a big hit along the boards.
And again, like all game, it's just kind of led to no real fisticuff response, which, you know what, I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm not sure we need 17 fights tonight. If there are a couple, that's part of the game. But on clean hits tonight, everyone's just kind of turned away and moved on with the play.
See, in the next stoppage, we can't get a look at that hit from Anderson because he walloped Safin. Really good, clean kind of cross-body hit.
Safin, who's been on that first line with Joseph Gambardella and Kyler Yamamoto. There's Fu, gets it back to the point. Shot deflected. Killed Detzel. Tried to get that through, but that went off the stick, up and over the glass and out of play. So Detzel and the rest of the Flames trying to figure out how they can erase the 2-goal deficit currently is what Calgary finds himself in against Edmonton.
So the Flames find themselves down by 2 with under 3 minutes to go here in period number 3, and we have had a flurry of goals in period number 3. And here's how things got started in this game. Back in period number 2, Juuso Välimäki opens the scoring for Calgary with a nice wrist shot. Now Chad Butcher, who's been very involved offensively, backhand top shelf ties the game at 1 on the power play. But before the second period comes to an end, Flames are able to go back up by 1. Nice shot by Mark Jankowski, gets right up off the stick quickly, beats Dylan Wells. But early to start the third period, Butcher scores again in a breakaway tie game. Couple minutes later, Evan Polai right in front of the net, tips home the go-ahead goal to make it 3-2. And this one kind of squirts loose to Kirill Maximov in the slot, pulls it back, beats Tyler Parsons, and that's why the Oilers have got a 4-2 lead in the waning moments of period at number 3 in the opening game of this Young Stars Classic. There's Rasmus Andersson, who has been involved offensively. A couple seconds ago was involved physically as well for the Flames. As watch out Ostap Safin. Here he is on the right side of your screen. Boom. Rasmus Andersson catches him. Good, clean shoulder check, cross body. That does not feel good. Andersson immediately to the bench after that. He knew that he planted a pretty clean hit on his opponent. 2:55 to go, period number 3. Oilers 4, Flames 2 in preseason round 1 of the Battle of Alberta.
See Dominic Pittis, assistant coach, trying to drop a play. Actually worked off the face-off. The shot just didn't get through from the point or from just off the face-off circle. There's Andersson, man. He has logged a lot of minutes. Lagesson in the corner. Flames starting to run a little short on time. Only 2.5 minutes left in this hockey game. And looking for 2 goals at least. There's Phillips. Dubé is in there. The Oilers so far, though, Pat, have done kind of a nice, clean, calm job of clearing their zone, and now it leads to a chance. Oh boy, Butcher again. He has been so close to a hat trick.
Yeah, he has definitely been involved offensively so far in this game and really came alive in the third period. That's where most of his chances have come.
Phillips by himself dangling a bit, but ends up getting him just sent to the ice by Caleb Jones. So down to 1:45. Hunter Smith in on the forecheck. That's just banged off the boards and out it goes. Net is now empty. Tyler Parsons is out, so extra attacker is on for Calgary. Here's Fu. Leaves it, gets it back. Keeps it into Spencer Fu. And he'll just slide it to Dylan Wells, and that will lead to a face-off.
$1:17 to go. 4-2 others. You can tell we're getting close to the end because the lovely and talented Brian Munns is
did you say
lurking
lovely?
over.
Oh,
and talented? Lovely and talented. Brian Munns is lurking over our shoulder. He is ready to go with Joey Kenward for the second game of our doubleheader tonight. Canucks and Jets in just a couple of minutes at the conclusion of this one. Still 6-on-5. Flames still have Tyler Parsons pulled. You saw Spencer Fu kind of drawing up the game plan as Glover and Jankowski will take this all-important face-off with 77 seconds to go.
The Jets making big news this week with multi-year extensions for their coach, Paul Maurice, and their general manager, Kevin Cheveldayoff.
Canucks made big news today with their signing of Bo Horvat.
Yeah, Bo knows bucks. Oh, baby. $33 million, which, of course, compared to $100 million for Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl got, what, 67, 68? Shot saved by Wells. There's Fu again.
Last minute of play of the third period.
Boy, Spencer Fu has had some chances. Shot from the point, deflected wide. I was almost certain that Fu was going to get that. Anderson will keep it in. 45 seconds left in this game. Cross ice for Fu, does a nice job to knock it down and then corral it, but as it chipped off his stick, Gambardella can't get it out. Does get it again, and he will still not get it out. Flames working hard to try and cut the lead to 1. Caleb Jones has it go off his stick. One-timer by Anderson. Wells has got it. Oh, what a pileup in front. Great work by the Flames, and the Oilers just hanging on to that 2-goal lead.
Spencer Fu, you see him right there. He knows how big an opportunity he had, and I think Dylan Wells made the stop on that really good opportunity. Puck just kind of bounces off of a play. Yeah, he makes the stop there, and then no, it just goes, so he does not make the second stop. So he made the first stop, and then it skips off of Fu's stick on the second shot. That close to the Flames making this a 1-goal game. We got 24 seconds to go.
Another face-off one. Push cross ice. Tangled up on the end boards. There's Hunter Smith, Matthew Phillips. A lot of red and some white. Flames down to 8 seconds left. Hunter Smith a shot. That goes wide. Kept in at the point. Slap shot deflects off a few bodies and sticks, and that will do it. The Battle of Alberta is in the books, and the battle won by the Edmonton Oilers. Final score, Edmonton 4, Calgary 2.
And that young man, Dylan Wells, in his second go-around at the Young Stars Classic, a big reason why the Oilers able to come away with a 4-2 win this afternoon. He was very strong, made some big third-period saves, and none bigger than that save that we just saw off of Spencer Fu to keep it 4-2. So the Oilers open the tournament with a win. The Flames open their tournament with a 4-2 setback here at the Young Stars Classic, as both teams still have the Jets and the Canucks to play. Dylan Wells gets some much-deserved congratulations here at the South Okanagan Event Center in Penticton. Not a bad Battle of Alberta to kick off the 2017 event, you know?
Not at all. 6 goals, 53 shots, had some really good saves, had some really big hits. You know, I know Oiler and Flames fans are used to seeing the odd dropping of the gloves. None of that. Close. In the second period, there was a bit of a skirmish in the Oilers zone, but all around, an entertaining game for everyone here at the South Okanagan Event Center. And here is a look at the schedule. 1 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to go. 2 sets of doubleheaders to kind of sandwich the weekend event. On the way, Winnipeg and Vancouver. Edmonton and Vancouver will wrap it up, but what a great way to get things kicked off between these two teams. And for these four teams, the ice tell a lot between these two clubs. Headed out on the ice, anytime you put on the jersey of these two teams, it always means a lot. There's the hits that we talked about. There were some fantastic saves, and there was a lot of everything, goals, and lots of great plays on the part of both teams. For Pat Steinberg and our entire production crew, I'm Gene Brinsby bidding you a good night, or at least goodbye for a short bit.
Come away with a 4-2 win this afternoon. He was very